welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joined this week are Rhys James, Emily Lloyd-Saney and Glenn Moore, Maisie Adam, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start tonight with a round called This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Emily, which category would you like?
Can I have health, please?
Absolutely. Your topic is health. If the answer is 20 million, what is the question?
Is it how many grams of cocaine MPs have consumed this year?
Is it how many ghosts would have to visit Priti Patel this Christmas for her to change her ways?
Is it how many lateral flow tests has Keir Starmer done?
Is it how many lottery tickets do you have to buy to guarantee that you're an idiot?
Is it Boris Johnson's monthly child maintenance bill?
What's a bad name to have to call your dog if you take it to a lot of auctions?
Is it how many wishes a genie gives you if you suck the lamp instead of rub it?
Is it how many comedians have to die before there's a majority women panel on Mock the Week?
Even then, I'll hold on with my cold, dead hand.
Is it how many people were at the Downing Street party?
If you're the breadwinner, what would you have preferred to win?
Is it, how much would you now have to pay Romesh to do an episode of this show?
Is it how many points has Max Verstappen got on his licence?
Going to the correct answer, please.
I think the answer is how many booster shots has the government given so
far. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Hugh Dennis. That's absolutely correct. Yes, the question I was looking for was how many people in the UK have had their booster vaccine? This is news that as of the beginning of this week, more than 20 million people have had their COVID-19 booster vaccine, more than any country on earth apart from the US and China. So how do you think the rollout is going?
It's going all right, because every adult is going to be offered the booster by the end of January. But offering isn't the same as doing. In the same way that if I say, you know, I'm a bit of a ladies' man, I've offered to sleep with 10,000 women.
It's going tremendous. I mean, I've had my booster. I now like injections so much, I'm thinking of getting my own needle.
When you go to the booster centre, there's nothing like you taking out your monogram needle and going, actually, could you use this?
Just flash forward 3 series of Mock and Hugh's just sat there fucked on heroin.
Or go back 4 series, actually.
Yeah.
I think you have to congratulate the microbiologists with what they've done with the vaccines, despite being so small.
What is the UK government's advice about what precautions to take this Christmas?
Do what you want.
Yeah. It's very mixed messages, isn't it? Well, they're deciding whether to tighten restrictions or not. And Boris Johnson has spent the week asking himself the crucial question, what would Peppa Pig do? And he's still not sure, I don't think.
Sajid Javid said his words were, you can snog who you wish, which is a disgusting thing for a minister to say. And then Therese Coffey said you shouldn't kiss strangers under mistletoe, which sounds like very specifically he tried to kiss Therese Coffey.
Well, it's mad. We live in a world where we're getting kissing advice on the news from MPs.
Yes.
What kind of God complex do they think they have? They can tell us who we can kiss. What's going to be next? Oh, and here's Boris Johnson with the latest rimming advice.
But this kissing advice has come about in, like, ahead of Christmas parties and all of that stuff, hasn't it? But I think the rule is quite clear. It's basically you can kiss people, but no more than 6 at a time, and they've got to have had a Scotch egg.
Yeah.
Don't put mistletoe on your front door, because it makes getting a Deliveroo really weird.
It's insane. But don't you think because it's always last year as well. It was like we're so obsessed with Christmas, despite the fact there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
So just do whatever we can. But we're all like, oh please, can we have Christmas? We were just a nation of Bob Cratchits walking around, going like, oh please, if we just wish hard enough, then maybe bells will ring, people will come out in the streets, and Delta and Omicron will stop for one day to play football on no man's land.
Is kissing under the mistletoe? That is the phrase, isn't it? Kissing under the mistletoe.
Yeah.
But they keep saying snogging. They keep saying, and I don't want to visualise, hear, I don't want to see politicians talking or doing snogging. It's like hearing your gran say she's been fully penetrated.
The snog thing is weird, because why are they talking like they're in a tabloid headline? It's like bungling, gaff-prone ministers in steamy row.
Let's more broaden this out. Why is Prime Minister Boris Johnson coming under festive pressure?
Festive pressure's what it means when you really need a shit after Christmas lunch.
So supposedly there was a party at Downing Street last Christmas, and a proper party with like drinks and crackers and stuff like that. And we knew that at the time. We knew, because we remember Boris Johnson came out and gave that speech and he was like, I predict 2021 is going to be a really great year. And in his hand he had one of those plastic fortune-telling fish. We knew.
Yes, December the 18th, there was...
They had a big party.
Alleged to be a party in Downing Street, which was wrong because...
It's illegal.
Yes.
And they're losers.
Under Tier 3.
There was a source, though, that said that this party that happened in December, it did happen, but that apparently there was party games, but the mood was downbeat. Can you imagine anything bleaker than politicians playing downbeat Twister?
Maisie, these would have been like old Tory party games, right? Just think about what Jacob Rees-Mogg considers a game. They'd have had all mad old antiquated titles like Farthing in My Pocket, Vicar. Who fancies another round of Wet Nurse, Jump?
What exciting new legal principle did Dominic Raab unveil this week?
This is great. Dominic Raab said, police don't investigate things that happened over a year ago. And good idea, said Prince Andrew.
How has the Republic of Ireland reacted to the new Omicron COVID variant?
Well,
Oh, my cron.
They brought in new regulations, including the fact that all indoor concerts must operate at only 50% capacity.
Yes.
So with your ticket sales, that's fine, isn't it?
That's quite savage, because I actually have gigs coming up in just after these things go out, and if it extends, I am in a weirdly Thanos-like situation where I have to stand outside my audience going, yep, no, yep, no. And I can't work out how you're supposed to do it.
It's great, you get to do a dating app in person. Left, right, just bashing
No, but it's all right, isn't it? Because aren't the rules that only 3 households can mix? But in Ireland, that's like 200 people. Yeah, I fucking went there, mate.
Yeah, no, you did.
Yeah, but they're just implementing these tighter restrictions to be sure.
I'll let that one pass, actually.
Yeah?
Of all the other ones, that one actually...
Oh, my God, I had an apology down here and everything.
that one was quite delightful, actually.
Oh, thank you.
In Ireland, do they have to put an apostrophe after the O in Omicron?
No, they do not. That was less charming. She did it in a delightful way,
Thank
right?
you.
What was delightful about that?
Well, to be sure, it was said nervously, but also sweetly. Yours is like, nah.
Well, that's my vibe, isn't it?
That's the air. That's your spirit animal. Look.
Don't be horrible to Dara. Someone came up to me in the high street this week and he said, do you know who I like on Mock the Week? The Irish bloke, Dermot O'Leary.
I get that all the time, to be honest. It's not that's surprising. I get Dermot all the time. And the funny thing is when they say, oh, hello, Dermot, I go, I'm not Dermot. And they think I'm just being, please, please, I don't want to be hassled. I'm having private time now. I go, no, I'm not Dermot O'Leary. And they go, yeah, you are, mate. No, he's so much better looking.
Do you think Dermot O'Leary would fit inside you like a Russian doll?
At the end of that round, Paul's got amazing here in Milton. Now we play a round called Feliz Navidad. This game involves Glenn and Milton, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Our first topic, please, is spin the wheel. The first issue is growing up. Who wants to go in that? Glenn.
I think I need to grow up more. I was discussing this the other day with my pen pal, and I've always tried to be sort of quite grown up and sensible. You know, I've never sent like a dick pic or a scrotograph. It's not the sort of thing. No, and even then, that doesn't suit me to say. And don't worry, I'm not just going to start throwing out just random dick jokes, just willy-willy. I'm not the sort of person who. No, I'm very sort of, very sort of sensible person. Very sort of like no sex before marriage. It turns out, and. No, I think because I try and act sensible, people usually assume I'm sort of posh or something like that. I'm not posh. I hate it when people accuse me of being posh. It annoys me. I think the next time someone accuses me of being posh, I'm going to put my head in the Yaga. I tried to sort of do quite sensible things this year. Tried to be a grown-up, sensible person. Like in October, I gave up beer for the whole month as part of Go Sober for October. Last month, did a minute's silence every day as part of Go Somber for November. At the beginning of this year, I fulfilled a lifelong dream. I finally went swimming with Dolph Lundgren. It was a real dream for me. No, I learned a lot this year. I learned that saying, oh, what, this old thing is not an appropriate way to introduce an elderly relative. People have had an excuse over the past 18 months to, not necessarily have your lives together. It's been a difficult time for people. It was the Fred West of times. It was the Fred Durst of times. It was it was difficult. It was a stressful time for a lot of people. And sure, you haven't truly known stress until you've had food poisoning during a massage. But, you don't have to have your life together because, we're just lucky to be here. We're lucky to have survived this pandemic so far. You've got to know luck when you see it. I've known lucky people in my life. The luckiest person I ever met was a guy who used to live on my parents' road. He used to live in America, and in 2001, he was meant to be on the first plane to hit the World Trade Center, but he accidentally slept in, and he missed his flight, and all the other terrorists just left without him. That's lucky.
Thank you very much for that. So that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And it's nature.
I was in the high street the other day. This bloke came up to me. He said, I've got a petition. I've got a petition about ivory hunting. I said, are you for or against? He said, well, would you endorse it? I said, there aren't any elephants in Dorset. He said, you shouldn't joke about such things. I could put you in hospital. I looked him in the eye and I said, I was born in hospital. My uncle, he was one of the last people to have one of the old lead pacemakers. He died quite recently. Lovely man. Buried him with a heavy heart. I tell you what's a dangerous insect is that hepatitis B. My neighbours, they're both naturists. I see them quite often, but not for very long, but I'm glad I bought the trampoline. I tell you what's a dangerous place to swim is that hepatitis C.
Thank you very much. Game around, let's go to Milton Jones. Come on back. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, teams, what's going on here?
Those horrible birds stealing Elton's glasses.
Merkel is welcomed as the new Chancellor of Parrot World.
I think they asked her, do you want to hold some parrots? And she said 9, and they got confused.
There's one of the birds on the far right saying, psst, do you want a fried egg?
I could be wrong, but has she just sat down on an upturned woodpecker?
It's her own fault to be dressed up as bread.
You just know that the Germans came up with a word for this about 10 seconds after, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, we need a word for when 9 parakeets come and try and steal your mayonnaise pots. Gestunkenflappen, we've done it.
It is literally impossible to be an observation comedian in Germany because you'll go, hey, do you know when you lean against a window and the window opens and you fall out? Yeah, we have a word for that. Fenstervergessenschlippen. Oh, come on.
I know Merkel stood down recently, but this is the quickest transition from world leader to retired woman who feeds the birds that I've ever seen. Then she's just going, tuppence a bag! Feed the bag! Tuppence a bag!
Is she shouting, I said I wanted a cock or two?
Consider we tell me what the correct answer is so we can move on with our lives.
It's the life and death cycle. When you're born, the storks bring you, and when it's your time to go, the parrots take you.
Consider we tell me what the correct answer is?
Angela Merkel, who has stood down as German Chancellor.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, it's Angela Merkel, whose 16-year reign as German Chancellor ended this week following the conclusion of her 4th term in office. Are you sad to see Angela Merkel go?
Yeah.
16 years is a long time. I was sort of thinking, what was I doing 16 years ago? 16 years ago, I was losing my virginity, and I don't know what Merkel saw in me.
Well, this show was on 16 years ago. This show began about 2 months before she started. So you would have probably talked about that on this show. You'd have been, oh, there's this young whippersnapper
of a German
taking over Germany now. You would have been sat there 16 years ago in your leather jacket, stroking your ponytail, you know, telling John Oliver he'll never amount to anything.
Yeah.
You know,
The BBC did a report on this that started with, think Germany, and you probably think Angela Merkel. And I thought, maybe I do, but my granddad doesn't.
I don't think I know enough about German history just in general to comment. 'Cause I only found out a couple of years ago that Hitler shot himself, and that's something everyone else gets taught in school. I thought he got blown up in an explosion, and I literally only found out about 2 years ago that Hitler in 1945 took his own life. And it just goes to show, you never know what people are going through. talk to your mates, Hitler. It's OK to not be OK.
Thank you. It's a really positive message.
oh, my God. Hitler being the face of mental health. Is that...
I've always liked Angela Merkel because her favourite television programme from all the global output is Midsummer Murders. So she is probably aware of some of my finest work. I get killed.
Did you get shot in the face in Midsummer as well?
No. It's much more subtle in Midsummer Murders. I got hit round the head with a plank, and then I was left in a room with an albino python who decided to strangle me.
Why have you got to bring his race into it? Midsummer Murders, you can always guarantee the killer is white.
In other news, what has Speaker Lindsay Hoyle vowed to clamp down on the House of Commons?
Drugs.
Yes.
Because traces of cocaine were found in the toilets near Boris Johnson and Priti Patel's offices. And I mean, who'd have thought that the same government that suggested building a bridge to Ireland were doing cocaine?
I'm going to put it out there. Boris is not doing cocaine. There is no way that he is doing cocaine. If he did have any cocaine, he would speak quicker and make more sense.
There's all sorts of drugs paraphernalia in Westminster. That's why Big Ben goes bong.
I'd love to know what drug dealers are saved in MPs' phones as. You know, because typically, if you've got to have a drug dealer, you've got to save it as something quite sort of semi-cryptic, you know, like Charlie Smith or something like that, or like Mandy Green, right? But MPs are so uninventive. I bet it's just John Drugs.
The Right Honourable Peter Gack.
There's probably traces of cocaine in the toilets round here, to be honest. I mean, you're telling me Milton Jones is just high on life?
I used to be a drug dealer, but I used to go around saying, I've weed in my pocket.
That's what I mean, 100%.
It's weird because Tories at work, they're just these sort of weird hustlers with multiple jobs who are going to illegal raves and doing Class A drugs at work. They're basically Bez.
I used to supply lip salve to El Chapo.
It does does sort of feel like Boris is just trying to go out in this big blaze of glory, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to just be so rock and roll, all this Tory sleaze stuff, Peppa Pig world, now all the drug stuff. Like, he's just going, what, too rock and roll for you? When we get rid of him. Like, he's about 2 weeks away from just flicking a lit cigarette into Parliament and walking off as it explodes behind him.
Did you see him in his policeman's outfit?
Yes.
Yes, he did. Boris went on a drugs bust with the police and wore every item of clothing they could. They gave him everything. Wear this. No, we wear this as well. Yeah, no, we wear 4 of these. And the hat. Oh, you wear the hat. Definitely wear the hat. Oh, and the flippers. Put on the flippers.
I've never seen a police officer in a beanie that says police.
It's like the rubber glove the Penguin has in the wrong trousers.
In other news, what explosive discovery was made at a hospital in Gloucestershire?
A bit of World War II mortar shell
Yes.
found in a man's bum.
Yes. An unidentified man, because that's key to this story. You walk into an A&E with a bomb in your bum, then you're very much going to go, can we keep this quiet? What will it take for this not to go on Mock the Week?
I'd have loved to have seen the excuse he gave as he went. It was just, I tripped up whilst metal detecting and my trousers fell down and...
No, he said
did say that,
he was
didn't he?
going through his stuff.
Yeah.
You know the way you go through your stuff
Yeah.
and you find, like,
Yeah.
a World War II bomb, and then he placed it on the floor, and then he slipped and fell.
But hang on, you can't just slip and fall and it go... Unless he was just there in trousers...
It's clearly a story, Maisie. He didn't. He shoved up his arse.
Come on. Do you think it was simply that his boss didn't like him and told him to put a rocket up his arse?
He was trying to make a stink bomb.
They had to call the bomb squad.
The bomb squad? The bomb squad?
I mean, they did go, I'm sorry, sir, we will have to have a controlled detonation. Up your arse!
I mean, thank God they got rid of it, because if he'd, say, had sex with a man or anything afterwards, it would have been like when someone treads on a landmine in a film, and it just clicks and goes, don't! You now need to maintain an erection whilst we go to the hospital like a pantomime horse.
At that point, I think you've just got to be honest, haven't you? March straight into A&E. You say, I've got something lodged up my arse, and whatever you think it is, it's worse.
The most difficult thing is on the German version of Mock the Week, there's somebody trying to go, an amazing thing happened, and he got a bomb stuck in his anus. And the audience are going, yeah, we have a word for that. It's a Schlüsselbombenassen, man. At the end of that round, the boys go to Greg, Emily and Reid. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Right, here we go. The first subject is unlikely lines from a thriller.
I think we've got an inside man. Dermot O'Leary inside Dara Ó Briain.
Everybody get down on the floor! I didn't say Simon Says.
For years, they've mocked me for mispronouncing words in vital moments. Well, today's the day when I get my revenge.
The doodlebug is stuck so far up his rectum, we're going to have to call the bum squad.
The Navy SEALs have missed the rendezvous, sir. One of them got distracted by a beach ball.
I'm sick of these mismatched cop duos. DCI Chalk comparing you with Constable Cheese. Shit, I've done it again.
Of all the bars in all the world, that is the worst sheep noise I've ever heard.
Well, if you refuse to confess, Professor Freud, looks like me and my partner here will have to play a little game of good cop, dad's cock, dad's dick, dad's wonderful dick.
007, this is the best invisibility system we'd ever created, making you completely unfindable to the enemy. I call it Test and Trace.
So, if you press this button, the car produces an oil slick. It's not new. It's an old Citroen Picasso that failed its MOT.
What a thriller that is.
Tonight, we climb over the wall. Much smaller than we thought.
You say on the night of the murder, you were out at a Rhys James stand-up gig. Well, I'm afraid we can't find a single person to corroborate that evidence.
I'm going to take the shot, and then I'll move to beers, and then it's Prosecco o'clock.
So, based on your illustration, the murderer was Claire Balding. Oh, sorry, Glenn Moore.
Hello, is that the police? Yeah. I want to report something. I saw the first half of the Rhys James gig.
Hang on. This snake can't be the killer. It's white.
I'm afraid it was.
You go on without me. Save yourselves. Honestly, you go on. Oh, fucking hell, I didn't actually think you'd do it.
No, I'm fine. It's not here. I've got some munitions up my arse.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear at Christmas.
Oh, my God, we are so disorganised. We haven't even got ours down from the loft yet since last year, but no, they're good kids.
Who wants to pull on this with me? Put your pyjama trousers back on, Grandad.
Personally, I always like to cook my potatoes with fat and ginger, but my kids hate when I call them that.
Now, I want you to see what I've bought your mother. Doreen, come on, show us your vajazzle.
As your Prime Minister, I think we should all stay in and stay safe. Party at mine.
Yeah, so it's a duck inside a turkey inside a pheasant. It's not for everyone, but it's the sort of porn I like.
Well, yes, we're not having a normal turkey. We're having a duck inside a turkey, inside an O'Leary, inside an O'Brien.
Be careful this year if someone offers you a blanket and you're a pig.
Is that a candy cane in your pocket, or have you just got a really weird-shaped penis?
OK, I'll go. What do me, your mum, and a local town's Christmas lights have in common? We all get turned on by Chico. Where did you get these?
I know you didn't want diamonds and things, but you deserve something really expensive, so I bought you some gas.
Well, coming up next on BBC One, a young boy has to defend his home from a couple of Christmas burglars with some pretty violent consequences. Next on the news at 10.
Bit of oil, bit of salt, and finally you put a lemon up the bottom. Strangely, I quite enjoy it.
So I just switched the local town's Christmas lights on. Well, I say switched on, more completed the circuit.
Honey, we said we weren't doing gifts this year. And this is why.
And all the other reindeer laughed and called him names. But Rudolph had one last trick up his sleeve. Revenge porn.
Oi, close the door. Were you born in a barn? You were born in a barn. I'm so sorry, Jesus. Sorry.
Glenn Moore tickets. Who the fuck is that?
At the end, let's go. The points go to Glenn, Emily, and Reese. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Reese James, Emily Lloyd-Sani, and Glenn Moore. Commiserations to Maisie Adam, Hugh Dennis, and Milton Jones. Thank you for watching. I'm Darren Green. Good night. Darren Green, coming to you live from the Mock the Week Christmas party here at Peppa Pig World. Time for the end of series specials featuring lots of unseen material, best bits and outtakes. And yes, this is the one tradition even COVID couldn't ruin. Hope you enjoy it. Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Darren Green. Oh, fuck, I said my own name. What's my name now?
What was fantastic about that was it almost came out as Dara Aubergine.
Dara Aubergine, yes. Perhaps you know me from my emoji. OK, the answer is pubs, chemists and car parks. What is the question?
Ooh, is it where I got pregnant with my 3 kids?
Isn't it, what is the smackhead equivalent of location, location, location? Is it what are 3 places I've been told, sir, we prefer if you waited till you got home to apply the anusol? Is it perchance, where are my kids going to be doing work experience if I keep homeschooling them?
What are the best places to find condoms if you're in a rush?
Is it where do you go on a Shane McGowan walking tour?
So, and you have the correct answer?
What are the best places for a good old cry?
No one's judging anyone anymore. You can cry wherever you want, mate.
I think the actual answer is what places are you going to be able to get the vaccine?
That's absolutely right. Thank you very much, Hugh Dennis. Very good.
Hugh Dennis there, ruining our fun by telling us the right answer. Again.
Let's be honest, I think we all knew the right answer some time ago.
You ruined the edit by interrupting that, so now he needs Hugh Dennis to say it again.
But I said it was funny, though. People laughed when I said the thing.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
We're not about funny, we're about the format.
First time on this.
Shut up. Changing to the format.
This is a shut-up point in the show. Shut-up Ed point, OK?
Is it?
Long after COVID, Ed, we are keeping the perspex for you. If we could get this back onto the strict tracks on which it works, please.
But presumably it'll be in the compilation of unseen bits that you've just...
Oh, no, this is the worst of it, Ed. This is the worst of it. When we're all dead, Ed, this is the bit they'll show. This is the bit that gets shown. When we succumb to this super spreader event we're in at the moment, this is the bit that gets put out in the compilation.
Ed, be serious, man, OK? You've got to stick to the format. I got this. And now we come to scenes we'd like...
OK, whose inauguration outfit went viral?
Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie. Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, yes, absolutely. This is Bernie Sanders.
By Biden must be a bit annoyed that he spends all this time trying to look sort of young and vital by doing the Peloton, and running onto the stage, and then Bernie's a smash hit just for looking old and wearing mittens.
And then that image, as you have no doubt seen, was grabbed and placed into a million different memes. For example, here is the classic image of him in Friends. Here he is in the iconic 1930s Manhattan construction site picture. And of course, I have to say thank you to the million people who sent me these images of which this, for some reason, is my favourite. Here's Bernie.
That is the way my dad sat through every single drama production during school.
Billy Elliot again.
All right. Is another series of Alan Bennett monologues.
How do you make the Hovis ad last an hour and a half?
Every scene. Because, you seem to have caught me among my northern things. The reason, by the way, is there are perspex dividers between it, so therefore there's 7 layers of perspex between various people on the show. So we can't hear each other because it's all muffled, thanks to COVID, has muffled everything.
Yeah.
So they gave us these things so that we could actually, and they pipe all our voices in. Hilariously, though, there are people who, when we turn our head, they see these things pop out, and then they go onto Twitter and go, oh, were you being fed lines during the show? And you're going, mate, if there's somebody quick enough to write a funny line, type it out and feed it to us, they'd be on the show, right? It's not like it's like we're here because of this. Hello? Can I not come on the show? No, Gronk. You must stay back and write jokes to me. Please, Donna. Can the public not see me make my jokes? No. You give me the jokes, Gronk, and I throw food under your door. That's the deal we have. Thank you, Master Dara.
People slag Boris off, though, saying he's a hypocrite for private jet and all that. But remember, for years, he travelled to work on a zip wire, OK?
That's true.
Net zero. And also, he does his bit for the planet, OK? He won't use condoms because they're single-use plastic.
Who did he reference in the speech, his 1 minute to midnight speech?
James Bond.
It was James Bond.
Hugh's best friend, James Bond.
Hugh's best friend, James Bond.
When I was watching it with my family, and the way I gasped when you appeared on screen, and also so on brand that your storyline was mainly based around some Tupperware soup.
This is a spoiler alert. If you haven't watched it by now, you're too late. Hugh's character dies. He compromises Project Heracles, which is disgraceful. But most embarrassingly, he dies in a gun battle where he's hiding behind a wall and then he runs out from nowhere towards a microphone in the middle of a room. And that's how he's picked on.
It was very devious of them to say things you wouldn't say during a gun battle.
I mean it literally for about 20 seconds.
Oh, you make an impression. You make an impression.
I don't know how you sat on it. I would have absolutely lost me. Imagine if that had been me. I would have just been going, Dara, James Bond.
But Maisie, you and James Bond would be one of the funniest things in the world. Just a spy comes in and just goes, give me the nuclear codes. You're just like, chuff it, hell, didn't expect that.
No, fair play. Fair play.
Yeah, you've asked nicely. Here we go.
Sorry, when did I become Paddy McGuinness?
Well, as far as me and Ivor are concerned, about 27 years ago.
Don't bracket me.
Yeah,
I didn't attempt a Yorkshire/Lancashire accent, Reese, because I knew I would fail.
Not
you
now,
failed alone.
Not now, but what were you doing in the rec room at Eton, mate? We know what you're up to there.
We weren't doing accents, our mouths were full.
I haven't seen the film and I don't know which things you're saying are jokes.
Oh.
I've never seen a Bond film. I thought I'd seen Live and Let Die, but it turned out it was the government's COVID policy.
It has to be said that in a film called No Time to Die, it is rather disappointing to die.
Hey, can you see the guy who's got another screen open and is doing some work while the show is on? You can do this bit. Bottom of that one, next to Pizza Girl. Hi, Pizza Girl, how are you? Just right next to Pizza Girl, the guy who isn't looking at us has clearly got another computer open and is catching up with some work while he does this. Yeah, just below you two. Just below you, yeah. That's the one, that's the one. Oh, yeah!
I think he's got us on mute.
You? Oh, no, so back to the emails. Back to not even listening.
Incredible!
No idea that we're talking about. No idea.
Not your plan. He's just doing a bit of admin.
Thank you for your report. Yes, the Q2 numbers were strong, and I've got something on in the background here. Don't mind it. I'm just catching. Oh, you! Give us away!
He doesn't know. Look at him.
You see?
Oh, my word.
That's the whole Ranga Nation in a fucking nutshell. Yeah. A whole series out of that shit.
There was a DPD guy who came to my house in the first lockdown, and when I opened the door, he was like, I think I've seen you on Mock the Week. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And now he comes so often, I'm the one excited to see him. He could not care less. I'm like, it's me from Mock the Week. He's like, yeah, Rashid!
It's a long morning. We try to, but at some point, somebody will deliver something, and then it'll be the high point of the day, and that's how it's ding dong. I got some laces delivered, like shoelaces delivered last week, and I was checking their progress on one of the apps and going, oh, they'll be here soon. And then
Put yourself in the mirror before they ring the doorbell.
You only get one chance at a first impression.
It's like you're waiting for your prom date to pick you up.
Like the guy's going to arrive with a corsage. That'd be amazing if you bought a corsage online and he had to deliver the corsage. He's like, from me, like a fade. I'm like a faded Southern beauty. I just get young men to deliver me. Oh, you're too kind to deliver me these flowers. And me only a faded beauty in the autumn of my years.
Southern Belle character.
That's my Southern Belle character. I don't do my Southern Belle character.
You get to the point where all the deliveries come through to the drivers and they're like, I'm not going there again.
Yeah.
He wears a long white dress and he goes, good day, Mr. Amazon. I have many suitors. I had a Deliveroo here this morning.
May I treat you to a refreshing glass of lemonade? The lemonade is being delivered at...
Well, sir! Why don't we check the app together? Good day, sir. Good day to you.
See, I've been perfecting just having my dressing gown just open strategically as I open the door. Just to give those delivery men just a little bit of a thrill. Treat yourself, darling.
I've had to spend, because of comedy not really happening, I've had to spend lockdown working as a delivery driver. It's been harrowing.
The guy... You love it.
Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage and ask you to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features the Prime Minister.
Come on, Carrie, let's get out of the bushes. I've had enough children. This is my chance to show the world that I do know my arse from my elbow. Here goes. Aha! I told you I could do it. OK, Brigitte, this is our chance to look cool and French, and let us hope, for the sake of your Star Trek uniform, that I don't have to spit out any English red wine. If Boris serves me fish, I'm going to stuff it up his elbow. OK, Doreen. No one knows who we are. They all think I'm a world leader. And I told them I'm the president of Poundland. So keep stum, and there's a lovely roast chicken dinner in it for you. Keep smiling. I am Ursula von der Leyen. Look at my lovely smile and my jacket. You can't get a jacket like this in the UK anymore. Oh, come on, Mother. Well, it's your fault, Charles. If we hadn't killed at their petrol station, we would have been here hours ago. Anyway, I'm buggering off in a minute is why I'm wearing camouflage. If I stand next to these plants, I look like a head in a handbag. What do you think, Camilla?
I just need a pencil and
Now, John, you remember what to say?
Yeah, I don't ask any questions and I don't sniff the Queen's hair.
Everyone, time for a big photo opportunity in front of Britain's biggest display of bubble wrap. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. We seem to have a shortage of chairs.
Oh, don't you worry, Boris. I'm just happy to sit down here. Oop, farted.
Thank you very much, Hugh. So what's going on here?
New dating app launched.
He looks like he's been asked to read at his own memorial service.
If you're trying to appeal to the general public and you want something to make you seem like a nice guy, I can't think of a better person to sit next to than Piers Morgan. It's like if you want to appear fragrant, just sit next to a pile of shit.
Hey, Ed, why do you think I sat here? I'm not saying which one of you I'm referring to.
I don't think Piers Morgan's just thinking to himself, oh no, did I take down my massive poster of Keir Starmer before I invited him?
They look like they're just going, we've been expecting you, Mr. Corbyn.
Are they saying, please help us, our planet is dying?
Now, when you're drunk and you come in as a teenager and your dad's sitting there on the sofa with the ghost of your other dad, like...
It's a bit like, what if Top Gear didn't have cars?
I like the idea that Keir Starmer is the first person ever to put himself in room 101.
What were the big reveals? What were the big news?
I feel a little unfair that you expect us to talk about this as if we watched it. You know,
Yeah, it's hard.
I can't bring myself to do it. It's like saying, so, did everybody, what did everybody think about slamming their cocks in the door over the weekend?
So what lines did they cut out? Go on, tell us. What lines did they cut out?
What lines did they cut out? They cut out a line where I had to go, we can't give them the weapon. We can't.
Oh, that would have given your character far more spine than he had.
Yeah, but then in the end, I do give them.
Why did it get cut? Were you overdoing it? You go, we can't give them the weapon.
Oh, no! With the weapon! But they will kill people with the weapon!
Throwing his soup in the air and just, we can't!
Take my soup! Take all the soup! But you can't have the weapon! The weapon is not yours to take! But the soup is yours.
In other news, what's notable about a spider that was filmed in Queensland recently?
Well, it's the spitting image of Elton John.
It's
like
uncanny.
Spitting it.
It is
Can't tell them apart.
We can't hype this up enough. We literally cannot hype this up enough. It is incredible how much this spider looks like Elton John. Honestly, I would, strap yourselves in. Because when you see this spider that looks like Elton John, you'll go, Jesus, that spider looks like Elton John. You've already seen the spider that looks like Elton John? No, you're not ready enough. I think I can't hype this more. I gotta bump this up, like, whatever. Even pick what era of Elton John we're talking about here, like, whatever. I think really Shea Stadium, that kind of like out of the stadium, big. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. Are we all ready? Yeah. See, now we're at a level of hype to see the Elton John spider. Roll the Elton John spider.
Have given it a tiny piano.
A tiny piano is all you need. He's ready to go. I mean, did I disappoint? I did not disappoint you there. That was worth getting people into the room for. We start tonight with a special prize for who in the Zoom crowd looks most like Nicholas Parsons. Well, only one winner. One winner tonight. Thank you for making a special effort.
At the very start of the show, I went to take a sip of beer and I've spilt it in my crotch, and I genuinely look like I've pissed myself.
Unlikely complaints to TV channels. Sorry. Yes. What major event could be delayed by COVID again?
My tour.
Yes, it is. Is your tour still called 2020 is going to be my year? Hey, you're my friend. You're back again. You're my NASA guy. Oh, this is great fun. The guy who held up that thing up last week, we mentioned. Good to have you back, my friend. Well done on gaming the system. And last week, he was wearing a T-shirt that had NASA on it. And I said, I like that guy because he's got NASA on his T-shirt, which means he's like me. And also, he's got a padded headboard, so he likes to fuck.
Is the people inside are probably saying, I'm sorry, Boris, there's nothing we can do. The economy is dead.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Don't bring in reality. Captain Downer over here, right?
Is she saying that we've got a special Scottish iPad behind me on the wall? It's called an iPad.
Can I just pause for a second there? Yes, that's a fine job, but you do seem to be getting ill as the programme continues.
Are we going to witness the first ever case of live broadcast COVID?
In other news, what 90s TV hit saw a revival this week?
My tour.
Fuck off, you!
In other news, what's been plaguing Australia?
Ed's tour.
You know who might enjoy one of those? A Southern Belle.
I'll say so.
Why, it is pure magic.
How do you make the horse run like that? It's incredible.
Your Southern Belle has moved to Jamaica temporarily.
I say, acting. She'll be Welsh in a minute. She'll be Welsh now in a second. And if she's Welsh, it's one step from Indian, so don't stop me now. Before I just end my career.
Just a note on boosters in general. People think that they're emasculating and they don't help, but I can just confirm they do really help, OK?
Unlikely dating profiles.
Lonely Southern Belle seeks handsome delivery driver.
In other sewage news, what surprised a man in Windsor earlier this year?
I suspect it's going to be sewage.
Yeah.
Is it?
Okay, well, it is in sewage news.
Who came out of the sky?
Poo came from
Poo came out of the sky.
from the sky.
Poo came from the sky.
It was a plane, wasn't it?
It was a plane.
It dropped poo over Windsor and it covered this man in his garden. I know, I don't mean to laugh, but it's a good leveller, isn't it? Because
Ethan pumps out enough shit, it can take some back. I understand the narrative, matey.
As soon as I heard that story, I was like, yeah, typical boomer, got a garden.
my mum's favourite game to play with me is called Bangers and Mash, and it's basically we just send each other pictures on WhatsApp of train tracks. And Bangers is poo and Mash is loo roll. Manchester Oxford Road is the best for Bangers and Mash. Just all our photos, me and my mum, it's just where to find the best Bangers and Mash on Network Road.
Maisie, Maisie, this is when you became Paddy McGuinness.
So do you have to get the photo live? Or...
No likey, no flushy.
Doesn't it come down as ice, though?
No, it used to come down. Because it used to be put into a blue liquid, and the blue liquid freeze, and it would come down as a block. If it ever came down at all, came down as a block.
Imagine being knocked out by a block of poo.
Yes, people were.
Sorry. I know I'm fairly young on this panel, but are you saying that when you were little, you used to dodge blocks of poo falling from the sky?
You'd hear it, then they did go.
A little picture of like Dara with a basket in Ireland, being like...
I hate to keep coming back to it, but shat on to death would be such a better way for Hugh's character to have died.
The first subject is unlikely lines from a food and drink commercial.
Goodness me, this soup is...
Spam! We're doing TV adverts now because no one will read our marketing emails.
This isn't just bread. This is more expensive bread.
Tired of having teeth? Try meth.
Mum's cooking aubergines for tea. At least I hope that's what that text means.
And to show it's as fresh as the day we caught it, our tuna comes in sewage and plastic.
Christmas in a can. That's why mums go to Iceland and why your dad left.
Subterranean enigma. Buried in earth, dreaming your earth-black dreams. Orange king of the netherworld. The carrot.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to eat delicious-tasting food and help the planet? Well, tough.
Weetabix, clean the bowl straight after, or you're fucked.
Paying too much for your weekly shop? At Aldi, we've got the solution. Pretend you're scanning at the self-checkout.
Why not try a bowl of porridge oats? Because happiness is for the English.
Here at Chipotle, we believe that knowing yourself is the root of all knowledge, which was, of course, first said by the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle.
Scrambled eggs, clean the pan immediately, or you're fucked.
Not really sure we can get away with doing, like, the accent and the song and the slogan anymore, so, bye and bongo.
Do you like milk but wish it was more like cum? Try oat milk.
Yes, I came in, I heard about the oat milk.
We use the finest Highland cattle.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear on a medical show.
I'm afraid your husband is stuck in the MRI scanner. I don't think he's going to pull through.
Well, mister, you're going to have to learn how to hold your drink. We've amputated your arms.
I'm not getting a pulse on his wrist. Has anyone seen the rest of him?
Tonight on One Born Every Minute, you should never say a baby is ugly, but we put this one back in to finish.
OK, you can put your penis away now. Mr. Barrowman, what did you want to talk to me about?
So you're saying you've had explosive diarrhea for an entire week? OK, sounds to me like you've got a serious case of oversharing. Yuck!
There's nothing to be embarrassed about, Mr. Thompson. It's simply a case of bum-bum willy farts.
Well, this is the weirdest medical condition I've seen since that Irish guy who presses a buzzer every time he gets a boner.
Due to NHS cutbacks, we're a little short on lubricant, but not to worry.
So, as you can see from this X-ray, there were no broken bones in your body, but there were some racist ones, though, here.
Should we be worried? Of course we should. This man is 180 over 60, which means that he's 3.
And have you been affected by any of the issues we've discussed on embarrassing bodies tonight? Ew.
Yes, Doctor, we will be scattering Nan's ashes at sea so she can be remembered for doing what she loved. Choking dolphins.
Beep, beep, beep. Popcorn's ready.
Yes, rectal exams can often be awkward. I find it lightens the mood if I sing a little song while I'm doing it. One finger, one thumb, keep moving.
I've got a feeling that one's going to be in the show.
Well, we've certainly cemented our reputation as the least cool show on TV with that. And welcome to this special edition of Mock the Week, where we look back on the events of 2021. What a year it was. There were riots in Washington, COVID lockdowns, and best of all, somebody shot Hugh Dennis in the face. Great days. Hope you enjoy looking back. Happy New Year and see you in 2022. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So, what is going on here?
We've all been there. You're out for a stag do, everybody's up for a party, and the groom wants to go to a museum.
Is this the one kid who takes it too far on non-uniform day?
Is this the annual meeting of guys who own lizards?
It was a disappointing turnout for the first ever straight pride.
Is this a sneak peek at the next season of Queer Eye?
Is this a visual representation of the replies to any woman's tweet?
Yes, yes.
The bloke on the right-hand side is going, look, this is where the tour begins, but if you get lost, just look for the flag.
Is that bloke on the edge of the picture on the right? Is that the dad that's driving them there and back?
I just love the idea that they might all be just thinking to themselves, now they'll take us seriously.
You know what's a real shame is that the guy in the middle is actually quite attractive. Why are the good ones always gay or white supremacists?
That old phrase.
Yes. This is the Virgin of the Year award.
And I am just out of shot.
This is a load of Trump supporters storming the Capitol building in Washington.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Ed Burr. Yes, this is a picture of some of the rioters inside the US Capitol building in Washington, D.C. After a speech from Donald Trump, many of his supporters marched to the Capitol and forced their way in to disrupt the certification of Joe Biden as the next president.
Can I say, though, that this is all because he challenged the result, right? And I think you just have to take these things gracefully. I win this show every week. Normally by a landslide. Now, you quite often give it to the other side, but I just take it. I tried phoning you for an hour last week to get you to overturn the result.
Last week, Hugh stormed the Irish embassy in his pants.
With a bullhorn. And that's a euphemism.
Yes, the answer I was looking for was, how many points did the UK score at this year's Eurovision Song Contest? James Newman's song Embers scored 0 points. This is the 5th time that UK has come last and the 2nd time it's received no points. It's also the first time, however, any country has scored no points since the scoring system was changed in 2016.
I mean, nothing against him, but it was a bad song, right? I mean, you know, if COVID was as catchy as that song, we wouldn't be in this mess, would we?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, getting 0-0, getting 0-0, you might as well have sent in Martin Bashir singing Candle in the Wind. Same number of points.
Another idea for people to get to volunteer to administer the vaccine? Junkies. I mean, if you want someone who can find a vein like that, and a junkie who's really, you know, jonesing, it's like, you do these 20 people and then you can have your heroin.
I don't know much about junkies. They don't tend to share with others very well. They're probably just sitting here, more for me.
You're a junkie, aren't you, Ed? I always see you.
I'm not a junkie, Reese. I'm type 1 diabetic. I've told you they're different.
You're obsessed with needles. I always see you with your needles going, I need more, I need more.
I know, because people are acting like this is a very difficult thing. I mean, what age do you start, as a diabetic, what age do you learn to inject yourself?
Well, it tends to be from when you're diagnosed, rather. They don't go, well, we'll wait till you're 15 and then you can see.
You're going to have to live with it for a while, all right?
So 13, I was diagnosed when I was 13, yeah.
So 13, but it could be younger than that, like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult thing to do, like, it's not a...
Oh, all right.
Oh, no.
You have a go, then.
Please. I am essentially implying that if you can do it, any of you can do it. But
Have you done it today?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do it, you know, before I eat, and...
Do you go to the same area?
Will I do it now?
We'll do one now.
No, because I'm not. It's not a performing art.
I tell you what, the guy from Love Island would do it.
If the guy from Love Island did it, he would die.
very happy to, while I'm enjoying this, for those of you, by the way, watching this show as part of BBC Lockdown Learning, this edition of Mock the Week, meet a diabetic. So, what's going on here?
What he actually looks like is a man who's going, are you worried about how your loved ones would cope if they had to arrange your funeral?
Is this a legendary rock, paper, scissors player coming out of retirement?
No, that is the grimace of a man who's just stood on his own bollock.
Is he going, get in, it's not Dignitas?
Is the plane going, I'm sniffing this bus, smells great?
Does anyone have the correct answer?
Is he taking part in The Masked Singer? Or is the plane sniffing a bus?
I mean, it's definitely peaked with sniffing a bus. And also, sniffing the bus's rear. Like, that's the way planes do it. Planes at the airport, they're always pulling up the buses, giving it a bit of a smell, and then they're up on back. Oh, they're rocking away.
And Dara, if anyone should know about the back of a bus, it'd be you.
No.
The amount of times I've been on the road and seen a plane coming. Plane coming at me with his big plane cock, and it's coming at me. Get off me! Shout for my big yellow face. Get off me with your plain lad on you.
Is that how helicopters are made?
Is it Joe Biden?
Is it Joe Biden? Correct. It absolutely is. Thank you very, very much. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes, of course. There's a picture of US President Joe Biden. This week he was inaugurated as the country's 46th president against a backdrop of tension in the wake of the recent riots at the Capitol building. At the time of recording, the inauguration ceremony has yet to go ahead. We record back on Tuesday, the inauguration is Wednesday, and then you see it maybe on Thursday. So we have no idea. We're just presuming it went fine. Obviously, wink, wink, internet people, wink, wink. We know what really happened. Oh, yeah, that midway through the inauguration, he whips off his rubber mask, and he was Trump all along. It's genius. It's exactly what the prophecy said. And then Trump went, fooled you, suckers, I'm president again. Now arrest these people. They're all part of a paedophile ring. And you won. That's what happened.
It was a short speech, but enjoy prison, bitch. Does have a ring to it.
It was the bit where Biden tapped his pocket and, oh, what's this? Oh, 11,800 votes. Making it rain. Our next round is called Newsreel. We play in a recent piece of footage and ask you to suggest what might be being said. This week's clip features a Prime Minister.
Well, good morning and welcome to the briefing. Could I please ask those who've already been vaccinated to turn the volume down on their televisions so Bill Gates' 5G transmitters can listen to your thoughts? And now, Chris Whittle.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Well, if you look at the first slide, you can see, me and Jonathan Van Tam on a banana boat in Magaluf in 2009. I don't know how that got there. I apologise.
Prime Minister, should we be worried by the emergence of new variants? Yes, I'm particularly worried about a variant of the Brazilian called the Vajazzle. Here's Matt Hancock. Thank you. I would like to announce this morning I've signed a £500 million PPE contract with my nan. We'll also do a briefing from the head of Track and Trace, but no one can find them. So, Prime Minister, I wonder if it would be possible, as it were, to ask a quick question which possibly in some... Thank you very much, Robert. Concise, as always. Now, as COVID retreats, these briefings will cease, but don't worry, we will be back in the autumn with all your top stars in a new format, which we're calling Britain's Got Valence. So, in the meantime, Prime Minister, before you go, we were just hoping and wishing and praying and, in a sense, expecting that you might answer a few questions about the decorating in your flat. Did you know it had been paid for by a Tory donor? I would love to answer that, Beth, but I've just put my pen away, and in 15 minutes, I'm getting married, which I know nothing about at all. So, for the meantime, that's it from Slaphead, me, and the Mancock. Good night.
Thank you very much, Hugh. Where has Wally the Walrus been spotted this week?
France.
He's in France. Wally the Walrus is in France. Where has he previously been?
He went from Padstow in Cornwall to France in the middle of a pandemic. So let's just say, I think we know how Wally the Walrus votes.
As it says in the paper, he toured around Ireland, it says, then crossed over to Tenby, and then went Padstow, and now France.
Is he, do you think, on a gap year?
More than Rita Ora.
I think he's a bit old to do a gap year. I think he's a bit long in the tooth.
That's just a cheap pun.
There was some reports yesterday that he was in Brighton, but I was just sunbathing.
Angela, don't do
It's all right. I'm not just talking about the weight. I'm 45. I've also got the tash.
in France. He's travelled all the way along the south coast. He goes to Ireland and to Padstow. Now he's in Les Sables d'Olonne. He's seeing all of France now, and then he moves to trains.
Do you think in a normal year he would have been interrailing?
Yes, he would, but he's not. Would you imagine getting onto the train, going, OK, I got a reservation, and then he's in the seat next to you with like a flipper just hanging over into your seat, and you're going, do I just stand? I got to go all the way to Frankfurt with this. Yes, I have taken a year out. Well, I suppose I hope to get a job in the arts generally, but I don't know what specifically.
I mean, it sounds like a heartwarming story until you realise that he only went to France because Priti Patel had him deported.
And also, the French are now furious because he is eating French fish, isn't he? That's the problem.
Apparently, walrus skin is so thick, you can say what you like about them.
I saw one once in a straight place of Kangaroo Island. There were little walruses on the beach, and the guy kept going, "They will kill you!" in a really scary voice. And the walrus just sat there, just staring at us as we like nervously take photographs. "Do not go too close. I will kill you."
And Wally isn't his real name either.
No, I don't think it is Wally actually at all. No one's thought to ask him because you get too close. "I will kill you." OK, what's going on here?
I don't know, but certainly someone's put up the mat signal.
Is he running inside to tell everyone he just got a lift from Elton John?
It looks like he wasn't expecting cameras, and then he's just been like, "Oh, quick, I'm the health secretary. Look healthy. Got to get them steps in."
Is that empty folder all the scientific advice he's been following?
Seems quite likely to me he is simply going, "Need a poo, need a poo."
We all assume that he's running forward. Are we not sure he might just be slowly backing away from the situation?
It's the fastest the government have moved during the pandemic.
Is he perhaps running from his responsibility? What's going on there?
Very droll, Evan, very droll.
I would say he's not running the country very much. That's what he's not doing. I'll tell you what he's not doing.
He hasn't got a leg to stand on.
Why do I now get more work on Radio 4?
Because I'm doing all of it. You want to know what the real answer is?
I just want you to say two words.
You say this is Matt Hancock.
This is Hat Mancock.
Correct. Thank you very much, Hugh Dennis. Very good. Yes, of course it is. It is Health Secretary Hat Mancock. What?
You mean Pot Mancock?
Yes. I guess I do.
And don't forget, Dara, he is running away from his responsibilities.
What embarrassing mistake did Matt Hancock make this week?
Oh, did he damage his brand by doing something right?
He went to a surgery in Bloomsbury to celebrate the arrival of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
Which sounds like a great plan. What was the only flaw in the plan?
They didn't have any AstraZeneca vaccine.
And did they say we were waiting for hundreds of tiny pricks and only one turned up? Running from his responsibility. Moving on, what was notable about Prince Harry and Meghan's new arrival?
I love this because they've called her Lilibet, haven't they? Which is the Queen's nickname, and loads of people are furious about it. They're like, "It's the Queen's private nickname. How could you possibly do that?" And I feel like if her private nickname is at a privacy level that I know it, it's probably all right for her actual grandson to give it to his kid.
We don't all have to name our child after our grandma's nickname, do we?
No, we don't.
I don't want to call my baby Long Boobs. Please don't watch this.
Wasn't that a Tom Jones song? I don't want to call my baby Long Boob.
Well, they make your boobs long.
What?
Babies do.
Oh.
Because they suck on them all day.
Yeah.
Do you not hold the babies while it's happening?
I really don't know much about this, please.
They swing like pendulums.
It's the only way new mothers can tell the time. Why were Conservative MPs particularly angry over the Owen Paterson affair?
Because they were sorry they didn't think of it themselves.
How many hundred grand? Because they were forced to vote the amendment through, which they didn't like. Then they were angry because Boris U-turned. And then they were angry because Boris missed the debate. So, about Sleaze, which he had caused. And he said that he was in Northumberland and he couldn't get back because there wasn't a train that would get him back in time. But not true, is it, that he couldn't have got home from Northumberland on a train? He could have done the tried and tested method and offered the driver a peerage, couldn't he?
It brings it. What might a £3 million donation to the Conservative Party allegedly buy you these days?
A peerage?
Being a lord is cushy, right? You just turn up, get paid 305 quid a day for falling asleep. It's basically the opposite of the opera.
There are cheaper seats that are more fun. I think about for £900 a year, you can get like a Merlin fast pass to all the park. And you can wear whatever you want. Like, you don't have to, but you can go in the robe and you go, hello, I am Lord Nemesis of Oblivion.
There's so much better stuff you could do with £3 million. You could buy every single seat at a concert, and as soon as Elton John walks out, you go, it's just you and me, Elton. September 15th, 2008, you cut in front of a queue at me at Pret. My latte, Elton.
Surely you'll just listen halfway through the first song and then get up, stub out your fag, and then just walk slowly across the chairs and then not come back. And he's going, is he coming back? Yeah. And you go, no, that's for beer.
Sorry, it's really homophobic to leave an Elton concert by stubbing out a fag. I was the only one who could make that.
Yeah. So look, she. Is that okay?
Hey, it's my 30th episode of Mock the Week today. Do you know what I genuinely got as a present in my dressing room? A Mock the Week mug.
Oh. You know, they leave under my desk loads of Mock the Week mugs. There we go. There's another one there. I could sell them. I got hundreds of them. In other news, which historical group saw an unexpected surge in social media following?
To do this job, you need fast feet, thick skin, and a regular...
And irregular bollocks.
Meanwhile, what's been causing disruption at Euston Station this week?
Buses stop at bus stops here because there's people at them.
No, but buses don't actually... The only bus stop if people need the bus. Surely the bus goes...
Well, they can tell that...
Someone's on the phone now.
Sorry, we interrupt this round because somebody in Zoomland has received an important call on a phone from the 1960s. What's that? Weatherfield 48. OK.
Welcome to the Greek Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where tonight we're playing for a whopping what fucking we won.
Yes, this is former US President Donald Trump and former politician Nigel Farage. This week, Farage interviewed Trump in a world exclusive for GB News. What did Trump say during the interview?
Wanker.
Moving on. Which group of people did Priti Patel criticise this week?
When I was a friend, I had a kid who was convinced that his dad was a cowboy and that he kept his guns in the shed, but we weren't allowed to go in the shed because it was haunted.
It's a beautiful story, Alistair, but you started it by saying, when I was a friend, I had a kid.
I'd also remark that our Zoom audience is, I would say, on average, 40 years fucking younger than last week's. Wow, that was a care home visit none of us were expecting to make.
If that had been funny enough to go out, every driving instructor in this country would have seen me as a hero.
Yeah,
Is that what you're going for the driving instructor crowd?
That's a demographic I can really get my dick wet on.
Right, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear on a news programme.
This is the 10 o'clock news. It's a bit like the 6 p.m. news, but we can get on it.
In a moment, I'll be talking to some local sex workers. And while that's happening, here's Jeff with the weather.
Later on, we're going to be discussing if Crossrail is when trains dress up as boats.
Figures released today have shown that France now has the weakest economy in Europe.
Nothing really, just the usual, you know, pottering about. Bought a new lawnmower. Sorry, the news, 5,000 dead in national tragedy.
It's reported we're getting worse at putting things into context. That's enough to fill 3 football pitches.
Santa himself has been cancelled this year after a now-deleted tweet has been found catching him repeatedly calling people ho, ho, ho.
It's 10 o'clock. I'm Hugh Edwards. That's Formula One's Hamilton, and this is what's been happening. So that's Hugh E. Lewis and the news on BBC.
Good morning. We are now reporting live from the Peak District.
Good evening. Pretty much everything is the same as yesterday. Good night.
And coming up later on, we'll be finding out why Lazy Susans are making a big comeback.
The victim wished to remain anonymous, which is why he's chosen to do his interview here on Channel 5.
Another question from the audience. You, yes, you there, the big, fat, ugly one with the horrible jumper. Looks like a pedo.
Well, England played Panama tonight in the World Cup qualifier, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. Fuck me, they lost!
It's been announced there will now be a global top 20 chart for the most popular porn videos. What is the world coming to?
A quick warning, the following story contains flashing images.
Well, there was one witness to the shooting, a Hermes delivery driver, who said it happened any time between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Three in Edinburgh and parts of Glasgow, 5 in London, and as low as 1 in Cornwall. Why? How many people have you slept with?
All the bodies were found beheaded, dismembered, and found hanging upside down in a freezer. This has been Glenn Moore for CBBC News Round.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear at the Olympics.
5 interlocking rings. This is the most complicated Prince Albert I have ever worn.
Heading over to one of our most expensive events here at the Olympics, it's the track and trace and field.
Good news, China have said that you can gamble on the Olympics as long as no one mentions anything political. So you're free to bet.
Of course, the javelin isn't actually part of the triathlon, so this wasn't an accident. This was murder.
For the last time, they're not Marxists. That's how they start every 100-metre race.
All right, let's see who comes first at the women's volleyball. It's the man in front of me.
Well, you have to say that is a very unusual way for a highboard diver to give a urine sample.
And now for a new event, the 60 kilos women's weightlifting with mansplaining. Here comes...
Next up, it's rhythm gymnastics, which is the only type of gymnastics endorsed by the Catholic Church.
And the speed at which these young men are hitting the water, it's surely only a matter of time before one of them has their trunks come off.
And she steps up for her first javelin throw. That's a very long javelin she's got there, and she's doing the run-up, and she's planted the javelin into the floor, and she's gone flying! Oh, my God, this is the pole vault. This is the pole vault.
And it's another gold for Ireland.
All right.
Well, diet is terribly important to all athletes, and nowhere more so than in the pad taekwondo.
And now we come to an event that involves swimming, shooting, running while texting, riding an e-scooter, and two men holding hands. This is the very modern pentathlon.
Oh, and that's an absolutely perfect forward triple somersault, and he just is a little bit shaky on the landing there. What an absolute pile of shit.
You're watching the poorly coordinated Olympics, and this is shaping up to be an incredible day of sport. What a show.
Now, the Conservatives have, of course...
I didn't walk across your shot there, did I?
No, not by any stretch, even though it was mid-sentence and you suddenly appeared. Like, sorry, just got shot in a Bond movie. Let it go, man, let it go. Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. On this, the first episode of the final series of Mock the Week. Yes. You're the worst panto crowd I have ever worked with. OK, joining me as we enter this final stage are Ria Lina, Josh Pugh and Rhys James, Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Alistair Beckett-King. We start now with a round call of This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Josh, which category would you like?
Home news.
OK, your topic is home news. If the answer is 73, what is the question?
Is it, what's the combined age of Leonardo DiCaprio's last 4 girlfriends?
Is it, now Mock the Week is ending, until what age will I have to keep up my paper round?
Is it, now that we're in our 40s, what position did my husband and I end up in when we tried to do a 69?
Is it how many people signed the petition to save Mock the Week?
Is it, due to rising energy costs for the elderly, what will soon be the average age of a creator on OnlyFans?
Is it, how many pens has King Charles got through this week?
Is it at what number did my charity single "Bitches Be Pimpin'" enter the UK chart?
Is it I am a time-travelling folk singer from the year 19 what?
Is it, in what year was Jesus 73?
How many days wait for an ambulance? That's satire.
You can't just do a dry comment on the news and then say satire. That's not a technique. We can't do that.
This the number of pictures of Brian Cox that Dara has in his wallet.
Why do people insist on making my relationship with Brian Cox homoerotic? I have no idea why people always do that. Anyway,
It's because you react like that and go a bit pinky.
Does anyone have the correct answer?
Is it how many Russian businessmen fall off a balcony in an average week? How many marmalade sandwiches did I eat off the pavement last week?
Do you have the correct answer?
Yeah, clearly. I think it's going to be something as simple as how old is King Charles?
That's absolutely right. Thank you very much. The question I was looking for was, what age was the new monarch when he ascended the throne? This is the news of following the sad events of the last couple of weeks. Prince Charles became king and is the oldest monarch in British history as they begin their reign. His name is now, as we know, formally King Prince Charles. And he should be referred to that at all times. So.
I was kind of annoyed when they cast Charles because I really thought it was Idris Elba's year, you know? I think we're ready for a hot black king. Come on. I can't be the only one.
The character was written as white. Why are they changing the colour of the character? Looks like the mermaid. It is really...
I did, you know, he flew to Balmoral and then he toured 1,900 miles, didn't he? Starting in Scotland, which makes me think he might be a proclaimer.
It was crazy as well. How much he went Scotland, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, London, Gloucestershire, Wales, London. I mean, it must have taken him forever because now he's king. He can only move one square at a time.
He's been on telly all week, travelling around, all because of his mum. Who does he think he is, Romesh?
But it is, you know, as I pointed out in Mock the Week 2005, Ugly, he's calling himself Charles III because on post boxes he wants it to go... They always print the name of the monarch. He wants it to go C3PO.
What is his first duty?
Is it the royal warrants?
No, the first duty that he has is to shore up the Union by reclaiming the Centre Parks that declared independence on Monday.
They said that closing them was a mark of respect, didn't they? Is what they said at Centre Parks.
Yeah.
And I think more of a mark of respect, probably, to both English and to the Queen, to spell both centre and parks.
How many people queued to pay their respects to the late Queen while she was lying in state?
250,000 people.
They did?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Although I do have a strange feeling that some of them, when they got to the end of the queue, having queued for 12 hours, went, so where's this new iPhone then?
People got obsessed with the queue, didn't they? Like, it was on the news all the time, all that bird's eye footage of the queue. Every time I looked at the telly, I thought EastEnders had started early.
I queued. It was, you know, it was a very emotional moment to go there, pay my respects. I thought it was a bit disrespectful that they tried to sell me that picture of me bowing on a mouse mat as I left. I bought 6 key rings, that's not the point.
A bunch of us discussed maybe going and looking at the queue. Because they were just there on the website. You could go and look at the queue, and then I thought, no, I'm going to wait for season 7 of The Crown and just catch up then.
I went to look at... After I finished my queuing, I went to look at the queue, and then someone stood behind me to look at the queue. Before, you know, there's a separate breakaway queue then.
Yeah. It's a bit ironic how angry people were about Holly and Phil jumping the queue. All these royalists angry that a couple of people have been given privileges for no apparent reason.
I don't like to blame women, but I don't think Gordon the Gopher would have let this happen.
You think Gordon the Gopher would have silently... I don't remember if it was good. Did he squeak or was he silent? Would have placed his little paw on Philip's hand and gone...
This whole week's been so momentous. I was on a train, actually, when I heard the news about Her Majesty, and the only thing I can kind of... I had a similar thing before when Michael Jackson died. I'll never forget where I was when I heard the news that Michael Jackson died. It was Glastonbury Festival, 2018, which is the full 9 years after his death. I was more tuned in this time.
How were the world leaders asked to travel to the funeral?
They came on a bus.
They did.
Didn't they?
They did come on the bus,
They came on a bus from the Royal Hospital.
Yeah, they went to Chelsea, as far as Chelsea, and they had to get out of the cars and get into a bus.
Biden didn't get the bus, did he?
No.
At first they said, I read that Biden was allowed to drive there with the Beast, and at first I thought, Christ, how much does he like the chase? I realise that's the name of his vehicle.
Oh, right, OK, rather than his +1.
I think that's because, as you say, they had to catch the bus, as it were, at the Royal Hospital, which is like a residential home for army veterans. And, of course, you couldn't let Biden get out there, could you? He'd never be allowed out. I'm the leader of the free world. Of course you are, dear. Come on, let's get your bill.
Well, it's a shame, because Biden's one of the only ones who can ride the bus for free.
Yeah.
I think they were lucky, because the last thing you want on a bus is an elderly American tourist getting on. 14-minute conversation with the driver. We're going to Leicester Square. Get a taxi.
You're constantly walking in going, is that Tower Bridge? No, man, that's Battersea. Could you sit back down again?
Somebody described it as having school trip energy, didn't they? And I just want to know which world leader had to sit behind the driver with a bucket.
I bet all the cool countries like Australia sat at the back throwing shit at all the... all those nerd countries like Denmark. Surely that's got to be the most nervous bus driver in the world. He's got 30 world leaders on there.
Literally, he was probably bringing somebody to a hockey match the day before. The following day, it's like, it's in Arden, OK, it's looking up, yeah. How did, I mean, of all things, Macron, I thought, behaved superbly at that thing. People were genuinely stunned by the warmth coming from France, but it was total French funeral baller move to turn up and go, you weren't expecting this, but I loved her, and she loved me. What were people asked not to do in London's Green Park?
Marmalade sandwiches, if they're not in plastic bags.
In a plastic bag, though,
Yeah, so take it out of the plastic bag and then please leave it for, you know, the wildlife.
Because there's nothing we want is then to attract an army of rats to the park near Buckingham Palace. If we can possibly do that, if we can leave out food like the Pied Piper of Hamlet and draw all of the rats of London into one park.
This Paddington Bear thing with the Queen, like, that's a relatively new thing, isn't it? Because it's just from the
Jubilee.
Platinum Jubilee and the sketch. Like, it's not like they've had this long sort of history together, the Queen and Paddington Bear. It's a bit like remembering Robert De Niro just for the Warburtons advert.
Every public figure from now on will have one. David Attenborough gets Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, naturally, of course he would get Sonic the Hedgehog.
Piers Morgan will be dragged to hell by Sooty.
The thing is, I get leaving the Paddingtons, right, because obviously she did the sketch with them, but marmalade sandwiches is what he likes.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what she likes. I mean, I'd be pretty pissed off if I died and they just left all stuff that someone I do comedy with liked. If my grave is covered in, I don't know, telescopes and potatoes, I'll be fucking...
OK, at the end of that round, points go to you, Josh and Reece. Now we play a round called... There's only a few more of these to do and I couldn't give a shit anymore. This game involves Alistair and Josh, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Our first topic, please. OK, subject is politics. What's going on that? Josh.
Hello. You may have noticed already from my performance on the show, but I'm not a political comedian. Not a political person at all. My friend said to me recently, Josh, what would you do if you were Prime Minister for the day? I was like, Prime Minister for the day? Probably not a lot. Not much I can do in a day is I probably get there, get my login sorted for the computer, have lunch, last day maybe get an early finish if I can. I do love the first day in a new job, though. It's one of my favourite days. My advice, if you're starting a new job, day one, have a question ready to go, because they're always going to say, you got any questions? My question, always, day one, what's the whistleblowing policy? Just get them on the back foot. You're not messing about. I'm not going to have a go at any politicians, but all I'll say is that some things recently have been mishandled by certain individuals. So what I'm going to say, certain individuals. I love it when people use that phrase. Certain individuals. It's never anything good, is it, when that's used? Never anything positive, certain individuals. It's never, oh, thanks to certain individuals, we've raised £10,000 for cancer research. It's never that, is it? It's always, oh, due to the actions of certain individuals, this laser quest will no longer be serving alcohol. I've looked into some stuff, and I've got to tell you, Putin, not my cup of tea. I don't like that guy's vibe at all. I'm going to use the word toxic, OK? We've got to stop him. I saw a graphic recently. It showed a map of the UK, and it showed that if Putin dropped a bomb on London, that the blast would reach up as far as the Midlands, where I live. And I saw that, and I was like, we've got to do something. Because I am not taking in Cockney refugees. So I've got a spare room. If your Ukrainian family need it, you're welcome to it. I'm not having some prick from Shoreditch moving in with me. Tell me I'm making coffee wrong. I'm not having it. Grown men skateboarding across the border. It stops now. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I could never be in the army. I'd be rubbish in the army. Couldn't even be in the army reserves, whatever they do. Army reserves, I think they fight against the smaller nations midweek. I think that's what they do.
Well done, Josh Hughes. That leaves with Alistair. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is growing up.
Sea levels have been rising for my entire life. But for the first 16 years, I was getting taller, so I didn't notice. It seemed a similar distance away. My first job was working by the sea. I worked on a pier on a ride called The Ride of Your Life. And we called it that because every year someone died. And that was just the price of fun in those days. Every year someone would be wounded or flung into the surf. It's like, what do you want us to do? Close the ride? It's a large piece of machinery that spins human beings around and around and around, operated and maintained by bored teenagers. Every so often someone's going to whiz off. To be fair, it was mostly older people on the pier, and old ladies really like me. Like, a lot. Like, you know those early Beatles films where they're being chased through the streets by teenage girls? Well, it's those girls' mums now. That's my demographic, and it's the hair that attracts them, I think. They approach me, they always say the same thing. They go, oh, wasted on a boy. And they follow it up with a question, do you mind if I ask? Is it natural? And I say, no, I was cursed by a travelling peddler. To wander the earth, never knowing rest, for 500 years. And they hate that.
Thank you very much, Alistair. Very good. At the end of that round, the points go to Josh Hughes. Well done. Come on back. Now we play a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, teens, what's going on here?
It's a machine for spraying manure everywhere.
Now at least we know what Theresa May was running from in that field of wheat.
Is this what happens when you order an Uber in Shropshire?
This is a lot better than the last Prime Minister who offered to spread their seed.
Is she saying in this country we import 2/3 of our ill-fitting jackets?
That is a disgrace.
I mean, it's a weird vehicle to take to a funeral, but you got to admire her confidence.
Her expression really says, my daddy said I can drive it when I'm older.
Is this what happens when you Google search middle-aged woman ploughed with the...
Turns out. Is this just a picture of the world's lamest sundial?
She's saying, no, I said I'd face my detractors.
Is it Super Vet Euthanasia Special?
Is this Boris on RuPaul's Drag Race?
Is any of the correct answer?
Yes. It's Liz Truss in front of a tractor.
Thank you very much, Hugh. You're absolutely right. Yes, of course, this is Liz Truss, who became the UK's new Prime Minister after defeating Rishi Sunak in the Conservative Party leadership contest. What are the biggest issues facing the new government then?
Well, they've got Liz Truss at the head of them, so that's probably the main one. Do you know, you feel like if Liz Truss can be Prime Minister, anyone could do it. You could win the UFC, I could win Rear of the Year, anything is possible.
People have a go at her because she's, like, wooden, especially when she did the speech at the funeral. And so, she's really wooden. You go, yeah, there's 50 million people watching. If 50 million people watch this, I'd be pretty wooden. I'd be going to 73, Age of the King, Age of the King. Sorry, sorry, Chef, Mum, Dara.
We've got people crying out for help with their heating bills, and they're like, yep, that's right, we're going to do it. We're getting rid of the sugar tax. And we're like, yes, the hated sugar tax is gone. Finally, orphans running up to me at the streets. Is it today? Nearly, orphans, I tell them. Nearly. The sugar tax will be no more. Truss will do it. I think it's wonderful.
No, I think that's 4D chess from Truss, OK? Get rid of sugar tax. We all put on a layer of fat. We don't even need heating. If anyone is worried about money, though, I've got loads of money-saving tips, OK, for this crisis, this financial crisis about to be in the recession and stuff. First of all, swap the expensive free-range eggs in the supermarket into the cheap egg box. The barcode's on the box. Literally no victims.
Yeah.
Secondly, instead of paying for Wi-Fi in your house, just work on a tube platform all day. Right? Buy yourself a raffle book, right? Then go into the cloakroom at a nightclub, free coat. Share bath water with pasta.
How do you know when you're done in the bath?
You throw yourself against the wall.
OK, in lighter news, what's going on here?
We've got a new king.
Do you think he is looking to sign the online petition to save Mock the Week?
No. Because now he's seen this going, how do I delete signature on petition?
He wasn't invited to the funeral, was he?
He wasn't. This is him checking his email yet again. Vladimir, have a look in junk folder. It may have gone back.
I think he actually was invited, but they would have had him sitting on the war criminals table, and he didn't want to talk to Tony Blair.
It's a bit that these threats this week, hasn't it? He's really sort of, I'm not bluffing, I'm gonna, you know, literally talking about nuclear weapons and the West. And he's not gonna nuke London, is he? Because loads of Russian money is still in London. That'd be like a loan shark nuking a council estate.
I mean, see, we can make these jokes because we're off air in 4 weeks, so we don't have to continue doing the show in a post-nuclear Holocaust landscape. It is exciting. I mean, I'm not like an expert poker player, but I don't believe when you're bluffing, you say, I'm not bluffing.
I can see him getting caught up in the security questions, like, what is mother's maiden name? Do you know what happened to the last journalist who asked that question? Which is funny because, actually, they did die in real life.
Oh, jeez. OK.
All right, Brett,
Satire.
if you zoom in, actually, on that pop-up, it just says, you have performed an illegal operation.
It's very difficult, though, isn't it, to be... I mean, it is a very scary situation, but it's very... You know, it's difficult to be scared of a man who poses for a photo like that, which looks like it should say underneath, in Russia, our small business advisor will be with you every step of the way.
It looks like just like a search engine homepage, which is always the biggest tell that someone has just rapidly clicked off some porn. I was just looking at general internet. That's what I like. Just internet. I reckon he's just been on Twitter and he's just going, wow, some very unsavoury things. That's why you don't search your own name. Whatever happened to hashtag be kind?
Is there, like, if you look closer, you can see Clippy the paperclip there going, I see you're trying to cut off gas supplies to the distant west.
At the end of that round, let's go to Angela Hugh and Alistair. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panels can come up with. Right, here we go. The first subject is unlikely lines from a blockbuster movie.
I feel the need for speed. Well, Mr. Gove, you're not in the cabinet anymore. Go for it.
Listen, trust me, Freaky Friday seems like a laugh, and then you swap bodies with your mum and your dad comes home drunk.
Before we apes kill the final human and take over the planet, I'm just going to sit in that tyre and masturbate for a bit.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius. I am the father of a murdered son, the husband of a murdered wife. And I've got a podcast. So, tune in wherever you get your podcast.
The aliens have destroyed Los Angeles and Paris. We think London could be next. They seem to be targeting wankers.
Showdown at dawn. I'll be there. When is dawn exactly? It's different every day. Should we might be just put a time on it.
Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. OK, you roll over now, I do your crack.
I will kill Bill. As a rule, I'll always do the thing that rhymes with your name. Does anyone know a Chuck?
My name? I have almost forgotten it. Born under a black star, cursed and reviled. Yes, my name is Neil Johnston. And the long number on the card is 592.
Batman Returns, no problem. Fill in a label, pop him in a bag, take him to a post office.
You know, most evil overlords only become evil because they experience some childhood trauma. Is there any chance that could have happened to you, Professor Poopy Willie?
My mama always said life is like a box of chocolates. It doesn't last as long if you're medically obese.
I've gathered you here today because you're the world's best superheroes and I just bought a shit ton of flat pack furniture. Now, Avengers, assemble.
The Tin Man had no heart, the Lion had no courage, and the Scarecrow had no brain. And that's how they all ended up in Liz Truss's cabinet.
It seems the killer has left his or her fingerprints all over the crime scene. And he or she has also left a considerable amount of semen.
Batman, why do we keep the Batmobile in the Batcave? It's covered in bat shit.
I had sex last night with the North's god. Thor? I can't even piff.
I suppose I always expected my life to be a fairy tale. I guess I'm still waiting for my Prince Andrew.
Thou shalt not pass! Of Mr. Schofield, yeah. In you go.
OK, the next topic is
Things you wouldn't hear on a property show.
So, as you can see, she's a bit of a fixer-upper. She needs a lot of work done, but she wants to buy a house with me, so we're looking for a new build.
Well, it's all about location, location, location. And this is a shithole, shithole, shithole.
We're here in Calais with Ahmed and Khadija for a special episode of Escape into the Country.
So basically what we've done here is we've put Nick Knowles in a cupboard and bricked it up.
You could do anything here. You could knock through that wall, you could retile the roof, but not the patio. You mustn't touch the patio.
Sandra and John are planning to sell their 3-bedroom terrace in Wigan so they can go to London to get a spot of lunch.
John and Jules have knocked through from their bedroom into the room next door. They didn't mean to, but that's Viagra for you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. When I said you should knock one out, I meant one of the walls.
And this is where we've built the panic room, ideal for opening your next gas bill.
They've made an offer of $320, which is quite low because most houses cost thousands of pounds.
So, a year on, I've come back to see how they're getting on. Fuck me, still not finished.
Oh, you're right, it is big enough.
The previous owner did leave it in a state of disrepair, but honestly, I'm thinking about making an offer. Sorry, I'm babbling. Time of death, 4:15.
Welcome to the new show where we help millennials to buy their first ever property. Yes, this is Hitman for your gran.
Old-fashioned and some jaw-dropping views. We won't be inviting Kirsty Allsop on Question Time again.
Hi, I'm a public school twat walking towards the camera.
Well, I've put your cheeky offer into the owners, and they told me to shove it up my arse.
I don't know how to tell you this. I know you just completed, but the sweet old widowed man that you bought the house off has, well, he's tied a bunch of balloons to it and floated off into the sky.
Rupert and Jacinda are 25 years old and have a budget of £2.5 million. Wankers.
Tim and Dorothy plan to move because of the primary school situation. Tim isn't allowed within 500 metres of one.
At the end of that round, the points go to Rhea, Josh and Reece. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Rhea Lena, Josh Pugh and Reece James. Commiserations to Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Alistair Beckett-King. Thanks for watching. I'm Darrell Green. Good night.
What planet is she on? Philomena unlocks the mystery of human civilization, and she's got many questions to ask. Watch Conk on Earth on BBC iPlayer.
Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Darrell Green. We're 4 shows from the end, and joining me this week are Nish Kumar, James Acaster and Ed Byrne, Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start now with a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, teams, what's going on here?
I thought if the picture of the week was going to be anything, it would have been a pound sign hanging from a noose.
It's my fault. I asked for this picture because I just wanted to check that the camera I put in his hotel room was working.
Is that Keir Starmer getting the news that the bad boys are back on Mock the Week?
Certainly explain the look of confusion and lack of recognition for the term bad boys of Mock the Week.
Everyone knows we're the bad boys of Mock the Week.
Literally no one has ever referred
We
to
came
as
back to say one final goodbye. Bad boys, James and Nish.
It's going to be a really weird episode.
Also, we were under the impression that more people were coming back.
We've just been told we're the only two that have come back.
Everyone is really
There's
busy.
a surprising amount of people who never moved on. Is it Keir Starmer haunted by human face in yellow sofa cushion? That says something, doesn't it? That you can have a picture of Keir Starmer on a sofa, and the most interesting thing in the picture will be the sofa.
Full disclosure, Dara. Full disclosure. Since I was last on this show, I haven't looked at the news once.
What year were you last on the show?
2018. First things first. Who's that man?
There's a lot of people looking at that picture asking that question.
If elected Prime Minister, I will make sure that all hotel room carpets go all the way to the door.
Is he the Prime Minister? If elected.
There was a line in his speech, wasn't there? We need to step up to the plate, no matter what skin colour you are, and the Satsuma the better.
Nice to have you back, Milton. You're my bad boy of now.
He's just going through a speech trying to decide if he has enough quotes from the guy who got us to invade Iraq. Bit of politics there.
They are. Politics. OK, can I have the correct answer, please?
Is he going through the new version of the national anthem, making sure he's got the new lyrics? It's Keir Starmer.
Thank you very much. Absolutely right to you, yes. Thanks, Brian. This is Labour Party leader Sir Keir Starmer, pictured in Liverpool going to a speech to the party conference. How do you think the Labour conference went?
All they need to do, Labour, really now, is nothing. Right? They just need to keep their mouth shut. So really, they shouldn't have done speeches, because speeches, you might say something that could be picked apart. They should have all just done DJ sets.
Well, they sort of did, because even in a conference, the Labour Party is so intrinsically unable to get through a week without something cringe happening. Even in a conference that went absolutely well, there was video of Wes Streeting singing Angels at a karaoke night, and instead of Angels, he sang I'm Loving Starmer instead. And I can't do all the work for them, but surely, if you're doing karaoke, you go Starmer, 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 Chameleon.
Yes, they're in the unusual position of the Labour Party of wanting to not say anything while at the same time teasing up the stuff they may or may not do. It's like those trailers you get when they haven't quite made the film yet, but they give you a little, like, just say, the new Star Wars, and they just put, like a mask down and have somebody go, into the voice. And you go, oh, is that going to be... Well, obviously, that wasn't a very good Darth Vader. Let's do that again.
No, what that sounded like was somebody trying to clean the mask.
I'm glad Dara just did that, because now I know who's been calling me late at night.
As a trailer.
But you're less voice of Darth Vader and more what he looks like when he takes the mask off.
Oh! I mean, you mean the melty guy with all kind of like...
That's what I mean.
You already have, Luke. You already have.
I tell you what, you can tell there's only one woman on this episode. We got to Star Wars in 5 minutes.
Yes, as we know, calming into
The Labour Party do need more young people, but when I set up a group called Child Labour...
James, quick one. What was Sir Keir Starmer's big policy reveal?
He announced a thing called Great British Energy, I think.
Yes.
And the bad bit is that it's actually going to be run by Paul Hollywood and Prue Lee.
Don't say those names. I don't like...
You had a bad time in the old Bake-Off, didn't you, Jimmy boy?
Can't remember most of it. It's all a blur. Mainly know it through memes.
We've had mixed fortunes for the bad boy since we were last on Mock the Week. I got a show shit canned and he had a breakdown on a cake programme.
Little news. Did anyone see what happened to the pound this week?
The pound fell to its lowest level for 50 years. But look on the positive side, if we are back in the 1970s, that's fine, because I'm still a child and the whole of Mock the Week is still ahead of me.
I don't know. Second time round, we might not book you.
Put it this way, my independent financial advisor has moved back with his parents.
Just a quick shout out to Kwasi Kwarteng's other half. I'm not sure if he's married, but he has a partner who presumably sent him off to work on the Friday going, hey, good luck on your big day. I'll tune in, I promise I'll tune in. And then in the middle of the day, flicked on the day and went, oh. And then there's a really awkward evening of, do you want to watch the news? No, you don't. I was just going to check our pension. No, I don't want to check the pension.
Do you think it was really him, though, or do you think it was a Kwasi Kwarteng?
They're going to have to cut public spending because they're going to have to make up the shortfall somewhere. And I would suggest if they're going to cut public spending, potentially we replace Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng with 2 bags of salt and vinegar crisps. Because, first of all, it would save about £316,000 in their individual salaries. And also, given the events of the last few weeks, truly 2 bags of crisps would have done less economic damage because they wouldn't have had mouths to open.
The IMF, they issued a statement saying that fiscal policy should not run at cross purposes to monetary policy, which is a big shock to those of us who didn't know there was a difference between those two things.
You know, if they'd told anyone that they were going to do it, they could have staved it off, but they just did it, didn't they? And communication, I think, is genuinely going to be a real problem for this government, because Kwasi Kwarteng won't do it. Jacob Rees-Mogg sounds like a Victorian mill owner announcing redundancies on Christmas Eve. And Liz Truss would lose a public speaking competition to the voice that says, bucket and mop to aisle 3, please. It is a proper problem.
Her speaking style, it's like somebody took a speech, printed it out, then removed all of the punctuation, put it in a salt shaker and just distributed it liberally. Hello, I am... Liz Truss?
No, I'm not accusing anyone of being evil, but I think if you were evil, then your manifesto would probably include lifting the cap on bankers' bonuses, right? What are they going to do next? Outlaw Dalmatian killing? What? Oh, fuck that, didn't I?
Yes, I mean, Dalmatian killing is already outlawed.
Legalised Dalmatian killing is probably what you meant there. What are we going to do next, people? What are we going to do next? Outlaw Dalmatian killing? This country was built on Dalmatian killing.
Can I just say on Dalmatian killing, you can see where it's heading. Join the dots.
Tax is more complicated than you think, though, because my whole name is Milton 79 Heathfield Road Jones, because my dad heard you could save tax if you put your house in your son's name.
It's worth the same as it's always been.
A pound.
What are you talking about?
Pound's worth a pound, man.
But what about with buying other currencies? Pound to the dollar.
Why would I buy another currency? I've got a pound. And someone might eat the crisps, so you can't have them in charge.
James, can we meet after the show? I've got an investment opportunity I want to
Always, Angela.
They're coats made of Dalmatian.
Cost of living's hitting everyone, man.
What, how's it hit you?
I'm back on air.
One last suck of the teeth for you, is it?
That's what you said to me backstage.
Yeah. At the end of that round, the points go to Ed, James and Nish. Now we play a round called If You've Enjoyed My Work on Mock the Week, why not come and see me on tour? Involves Ed and Milton, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Our first topic. Let's spin the wheel. First subject is class. Who was coming out? Ed Byrne.
So I didn't grow up particularly middle class. I've ascended into the middle classes now, but I don't really feel like I belong. I feel like I'm just sort of observing and reporting what middle class people do, like hanging up wooden letters above your oven, spelling out the word bake. What's happened to you people? What has happened to you that you suddenly need all these ornate wooden Post-it notes in every room in your house, remind you how to use each room in your house? You go to a middle-class house now, every room you go into is like going into an escape room. What are we doing here? I don't know, check the cushions. Oh, apparently we should live our best life. Look for more clues. Seriously, we rented a cottage a few summers ago, and every room you went into, every room, you go into the kitchen, and one wall's got cook, and the other wall's got eat. Thanks for the tips, lads. Glad I read those in the right order. You go into the living room, and one wall's got chill, and the other wall's got relax. You go into the bedroom, above the bed, it's got love. Oh, my God, I'm gonna... Just wandering around this cottage going, was this place decorated by the dude from Memento? Seriously. So, you know, last day of that holiday, I went to the craft shop. Bought myself some letters. They can't withhold your deposits because you added decorations to a property. That's not a rule. Went into that bathroom, just put shit above the toilet. Tasteful wooden letters, little white lights, Times New Roman. Into the shower enclosure with my stencil kiss just to go cheeky wank. It's gotta be done. Small victory, innit? Cheers.
Thank you very much, Ed. That leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is anger. OK, Milton.
Again? People are angry. I'm angry, you're angry, Ed's angry about letters. The railway workers are angry. I saw them demonstrating in the street the other day. I went out, took them some ice cubes as their placards demanded. Turns out they wanted justice. Do you ever have a conversation with someone and towards the end they say, well, I'll let you go? And you think, yeah, thanks. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're trying to make me think that you think that I've got better things to do. But in reality, you're saying that you've got better things to do. Well, next time someone says to you, I'll let you go, say, no. Shut the door. To make some dive for the window, grab them by their ankles. As they're dangling 4 stories above the car park, scream, this has all been a terrible mistake. Say, OK, I'll let you go. The AA, the RAC, don't get me started. My own particular bugbear is a cross between an insect and a mammal. To be honest, because people say that as well, don't they? And you think, what do you mean, to be honest? You mean everything you've been saying so far hasn't been honest? Well, how can we trust what you're going to say now? Anyway, you've been a great audience. But to be honest, I'll let you go.
Thank you very much. Points there to Milton Jones. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Milton, it's your 50th show and your final show. Which category would you like?
What do you mean it's my final show?
I've just decided.
Thanks a lot.
Which category would you like, Milton?
Betrayal. Science, please.
Excellent. Your topic is science. The answer is 6.8 million. What is the question?
Is it how many knives are in my back?
Is it how many of the 1 million people who live in the Donbass have voted to join Russia?
Is it how many dock leaves would you have to rub on the songwriter's sting before he disappeared?
How far short are we of the 6.8 million people we hope would sign the Save the Mock the Week petition?
Is it how many points would I have on my licence if it was illegal to drive whilst devilishly handsome?
Hell yeah.
Is it how much did my sex tape lose at the box office?
Is it how many waterlogged Paddington Bears are currently filling up landfill in winter?
In the song, the 6.8 million days of Christmas, how many scarecrows were a skanking?
Is it the number of unread emails in Liz Truss's inbox?
Is it how many Russian students live in the city of undergrad?
Is it in what position now is Prince Harry in line to the throne?
Is it in a few years' time how many Russian students will live in the Russian city of Postgrad?
Does anyone have the correct answer, please?
It's how far away is the asteroid that NASA have managed to knock off its course?
Absolutely. Thank you very, very much. Very good. Yes. The yes question I was looking for was, how many miles away from Earth did NASA strike an asteroid with a hypersonic spacecraft? So why did they do this?
It's the plot of Armageddon.
Yeah, under Deep Impact. I was more of a Deep Impact man, actually. I was always more Deep Impact.
Let us know what your wife said.
Yeah. Good to we've already lowered the tone in this.
I'm looking forward to going into the science bit now and having you be all, oh, I know about science, I'm a clever guy, even though a few weeks ago, me and Nish saw you walk into a room and tip a pint of ice cream upside down thinking it would stay in the cup and it fell on the carpet.
Yeah, and it would be a real shame if somebody had brought along a photo of exactly that happening. Literally right there. Walk us through this, science boy.
OK.
There's lactose intolerance, and then there's throwing a bit.
They do a thing in Dairy Queens in Canada and possibly in America where they pour your ice cream and then they turn it upside down quite dramatically and then go, yep, there it goes, and hand it to you, right?
Yeah.
And then
to demonstrate its thickness? Or
it's just out, it fills a cup, like whatever. And then I walked all the way from the Dairy Queen to the, like 10 minutes later, arrived at the cup and I said, oh, they do this amazing thing. And I turned it over and forgetting that my hand had been holding it for 10 minutes as I walked back from the place. So it paused for a second. There was a delicious second where it held and then it started to move.
Oh, Dara, I hope Brian Cox isn't watching this.
And then it moved all over my hotel room floor. That's me facing the window because I laughed so much I turned into the guy from the end of the Blair Witch Project.
At the point that happened, did you go, I shall call it gravity?
It was pretty amazing, though. They fired a satellite at it, and it filmed it. They filmed it. You know, it took photographs as it was zooming in to the asteroid, and everybody breathed a great sigh of relief when it first started to zoom in, and they didn't see a load of clangers all going.
I read that so one of them's Dimorphos, and I can't remember the other one.
Yeah.
And I wrote it down because it said it took roughly 11 hours and 55 minutes to circle its 780-metre wide partner, and it just reminded of me and my husband when we try and have sex after dinner.
You're circling around to
Circling about 11 hours.
And he deflects you by changing your velocity until eventually you're drawn into a tighter and tighter orbit.
Oh, man, I'm horny as hell. Why did this show get so horny?
Well, we finally allowed women on. In other news, why might some Tesla drivers have sore fingers?
All the wanking.
Come on. I'm getting the point you're making, but I don't see how the mechanics of that actually work. Fingers are very sore.
Is it just make sense? That's how I do it, like a squirrel.
Or is it perhaps just from going on Twitter to blindly defend every single thing Elon Musk does ever?
I don't know if that's necessary. I think you can buy the car without thinking it has anything to do with Musk. Musk seems so...
Oh, that's because you have a Tesla, Dara.
Yeah, well... whereas I do think he is strange.
He's holding his face on.
Do you think if he was involved in a scandal that went on and on for ages, it would be called Elongate?
Why, though, are their fingers sore?
The story is Tesla have recalled 1.1 million cars in the US because as the windows go up, if they don't stop, they're meant to stop if they hit an obstruction or something.
Yeah, like your, like your hand.
So that if your hand is in the window, they just crush your hand.
You have your hand down, and then the thing would push it up, all right?
Well, and you're thinking, I'm just going to leave my hand here for about 15 seconds.
Let's see how this goes. Sorry, Dara, are you blindly defending everything Elon Musk has ever done?
You've zoned out, haven't you? I zoned out. I was just thinking about the deleted scene from Titanic where she puts her hand on the window and chops her fingers off.
Oh, Jack! Out my fingers! Can I get onto the board with you? She says, no, there's no space here. He goes, there is, because your fingers aren't taking up any space. So if you just move along with your palms, rest the door, and I'll be okay. Is that okay? Can I come on, Rose? No, you can't. You can't. I got no fingers left. You're not getting on the board. Freeze!
She's actually called Rose because when she was on the door, she had to row with her arm.
At the end of that round, the point's going to Angela Kieran Milton. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear on a travel show.
I'm not going anywhere.
Hello, I'm a British comedian and I'm doing a travel show without my mum.
Venice. Everywhere is a toilet.
Well, what can I tell you about the Baltic? Never walk through long grass, just in a pair of shorts.
Welcome to The Joke's on Me, the only travel show hosted by a flat earther.
Welcome to the misadventures of Romesh Ranganathan. I'm not Romesh, but he's too busy to do it these days. And based on what I can tell, most of you can't tell the difference between us.
In this series, I'm going to show you my favourite bits of the Netherlands. Welcome to Hugh's Nether Region.
In New Zealand. Apparently, Lord of the Rings was filmed here, but they never mention it.
Yes, I am having a great time in Pyongyang. Everything cool. Everybody has enough food. Very nice. Oh, my God, no, please!
As my hot air balloon floats majestically towards the top of the Shard, I'm realising what a bad idea this was.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. With that in mind, apologies to the owner of the cucumber and Johnny Vegas. Paris.
Paris, city of fine art, fine cuisine, but ruined by being full of French people.
Here I am on top of Machu Picchu. And a moment ago, the inventor of the Fitbit just fell off. And yes, he did hit 10,000 steps on the way down.
And here, on the French coast, the perfect beach footwear was invented by designer Philippe Philot. I said it.
It is over 2,000 years since Vesuvius erupted here at Pompeii, and it's unlikely to happen. Bollocks!
All I'm saying is, if you don't provide breakfast, this is just an Air B. Do you understand?
On this episode, we're in Malaysia because that's right, your licence fee paid for another 2 comedians to go on holiday.
Good trip, wasn't it? It was a good trip, that one.
I'm here in Paris for Fashion Week. They've covered the Arc de Triomphe with camouflage netting. Can't see the attraction myself.
The next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
At WeBuyAnyCar.com, We Buy Fuck Off hasn't even got wheels.
Quasi, gamble responsibly.
The Happy Meal. It's neither of those things.
From the people who bought you NutriBullet, the NutriGun. Find nutrition into a hole of your choosing today.
Oral-B. But on the other hand, you got an A for anal.
Head and Shoulders, the perfect shampoo for people with hairy shoulders.
Do you want children to learn about deadly skin diseases? Then buy The Adventures of Leper Pig.
Kids and grown-ups love it so. The comedy of Frankie Boyle.
Come back, Frankie!
I'm Nick Clegg, and I think you should join the metaverse. I had to join it to move to a different reality to find one single person who didn't think I was a twat.
Andrex, the toilet paper for you and your dog. Come on, Rex.
Do you suffer from male pattern baldness? Sucks to be you.
Pepperami. It's a bit of an animal. Specifically, its dick.
Why is it called Special K? It's ketamine.
Why not travel by megabus? Now Mock the Week's ending, Dara O'Brien might actually be on it.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Aniston. How do I look like this? Well, it's called the Witness Relocation Scheme.
The Russian army needs you, because all the guys we hired died.
Can Nish and I survive Mock the Week without Ed Gamble? Kazoo, yeah, we can.
At the end of that round, the points go to Angela Hugh Milton. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Nish Kumar, James A. Catherine Edward. Commiserations to Angela Barnes, Hugh Davis and Milton Jones. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara Breen. 3 more to go. See you next week. Good night.
So the crew are back, meaning the great British public, helping out with the jokes and banter. Romesh is in the house and his wonderful mum. The Ranga Nation, Sunday at 10 on BBC Two.
welcome to the third last Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Rhys James, Laura Lex and Glenn Moore, Angela Barnes, Hugh Dennis and Ahir Shah. We start with a round tonight called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what is happening. So, teams, what's going on here?
Are they in a Freshers' Week intro to economics lecture?
Is Kwasi Kwarteng saying, why haven't they beamed us up? They should have beamed us up by now.
Is he saying, put your seatbelt on? Apparently this one's called Nemesis Inferno.
He's probably going, Liz, I know I should know, but what is the pound again?
She's saying, when you're Prime Minister, you can get a go on the armrest.
I think it's an old episode of Star Trek where they drive the Enterprise into the sun.
Is this just a picture of the dartboard in the Bank of England?
This is a new male and female double act designed to make us appreciate Phil and Holly.
It gives up a huge, oh, honey, can we get past this?
Yeah.
I mean, she's an old college friend. We just went for coffee. She wants to get out of dancing and move into economics.
I wasn't unfaithful. I fucked the economy.
Does anyone have the correct answer?
It's Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss at, I believe, the Tory party conference.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. Here, very good. Yes, this is Prime Minister Liz Truss and Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng pictured at the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham this week. How did the conference go?
It went really well for Labour.
Labour are now 9,000 points ahead.
It's gone really well for me, because I recently invested all my money into a company that makes graphs that go like that.
It's gone so badly. I think Netflix is going to make a documentary about it. Fire Festival, Woodstock, Tory party conference.
There is a... did you actually use the words, I know how you feel, which is desperately close to, I know now why you cry. The words the Terminator said as being slowly being lowered into a vat of molten steel.
It ended on an uplifting note. She said, we have your back, which is Tory for we own your spine.
I think the slogan's good, getting Britain moving. I think that's good, it's accurate, as long as they're talking about bowels, because I found out what my mortgage repayments are going to be and I shit myself.
Liz Truss was voted into power by the members of the Conservative Party, who are basically a bunch of batshit home counties wingnuts with an average age of ghost.
Oh, I can't wait to see
Listen, I'm sorry, but the collective noun for Tory members is a haunting, right? It's like far fewer people voted for her to be Prime Minister than will watch this show, and this show is not popular enough to stay on air.
It's a shame. No one's ever going to hear you say that, ever.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the third last show, I heard.
It's mad you can just sneak in. You don't have to, like, prove you're a Tory by, like, eating a quiche or something on the way. Why aren't Labour there? If you can just sneak in, why aren't Labour there heckling the whole time? Why isn't Keir Starmer in the back holding up a banner with the current poll on it going, Lizzie, what's the score? Lizzie!
You think the Tory conference should have an away end?
Yes.
You're not winning elections anymore. or should he be in the middle with no, I am not Keir Starmer. I'm visiting French dignity. Le Keir Starmer.
You say that like the most unrecognisable man on the planet needs a disguise.
OK, so the question is, which policy U-turn did the government make early in the conference?
Well, 45p, wasn't it?
Yes.
Top tax rate.
And Hugh, I am very sorry about that.
You're going to make a lot of wealth, were you? Are you planning to do trickling down? Were you going to do a bit of trickling down?
But that's just age, and I've been to a doctor.
I love a U-turn. It's like a plot twist in real life. It's really fun. Yeah. Like, the Tories are like M. Night Shyamalan. And he's so good at twist, the M stands for Bernard.
People are already calling for her to go, right? I don't want that to happen at all, right? Because we all thought that it couldn't get any worse after Boris. and then it got worse instantly in the first week. I don't want to see what part 3 of this horrible trilogy is. The only way it could be more destructive is if the next Prime Minister is a pigeon trapped in your kitchen.
She's considered so untrustworthy that the news is going to have to start dubbing her voiceover with Jerry Adams.
She's refused to rule out any further U-turns. She said there could be further U-turns. And I'm on board with that, OK? I think I've got a few suggestions, actually, if she wants to do some U-turns, all right? First of all, bring back Orange Wednesdays. What are you thinking, getting rid of that? 2-for-1 cinema tickets and free dough balls, that's when this country peaked, all right? Increase the speed limit outside private schools. They say no drinking on the tube. No, I say mandatory drinking on the tube. Let's spice up that morning commute. That's my aim. Final U-turn, bring back Mock of the Week.
Yeah, I know.
As long as Frankie's on it, I'll watch.
Well, I think we're almost certainly going to go to GB News by the
Liz Truss just said that she was against the anti-growth coalition and just listed things she didn't like.
Yeah.
And I was quite keen on her just, like, carry it. It's like, wet chips, anti-growth. that bit of film that you get on the top of a cup of tea sometimes, anti-growth. The film version of Dune, anti-growth. Like that.
Damp sleeves.
That's
the worst thing in the world. I don't mean the joke, I mean the sleeves.
How often...
Well, if you wear a big jumper and your sleeves get wet...
Yeah.
Come on! Is that...
Why is your sleeve wet, Glenn?
They just get wet
wash your hands, like a sensible person.
Now, a sensible person doesn't get their whole arm underneath the tap. Be gone, COVID.
I do love the idea that if she had just said damp sleeves, she gets one more vote.
Moving on, what crisis continues to engulf the UK?
The Conservatives?
Other than that,
the cost of living, isn't it?
Cost of living crisis, absolutely.
Otherwise known as inflation, I believe.
People are just full of tips. The cost of living crisis is what you need to do. And if one more person tells me to buy a fucking air fryer, I'm going to lose my... and they're really expensive as well. And the cost of living crisis, don't tell people to buy something that's really expensive. What are you going to tell me next? Oh, in order to heat your house, why not buy a Maldive?
I'm the same. I've, like, fully turned into my dad with all of this and doing all the things I criticise him for. I'm, like, refusing to turn the heating on until it's December. You know, I'm banging on about Thatcher all the time. All of a sudden, I'm embezzling.
What is the new product which is suddenly spiked in price?
Milk.
Yes, dairy products.
Milk's up. And now who looks stupid for still being breastfed?
Yeah. Yeah, but by random women, that's a bit of...
I flew to Ireland at the weekend and it is weird seeing all, like, milk and butter in the duty-free section.
How are some leisure centres reducing costs?
Well, they're going to turn down the heat of swimming pools.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it will make swimming more expensive because now you've got to pay for admission, a locker, a wetsuit and a defibrillator.
Don't get a wetsuit. Hugh, don't get a wetsuit. There's nothing worse than wet sleeves.
I don't know how relatable it was to say they were shutting the jacuzzis down, though. Like, oh, no, there'll be no more Veruca soup.
I love a jacuzzi in a leisure centre. It's brilliant. But it's not brilliant when they turn it off, because then you're just in a bath with strangers.
I just assumed that local pools were heated exclusively by toddler piss.
In areas. I mean, you still get a little rush of, oh, that's nice and warm. Oh, no, oh, no.
Hot tubs are very expensive to heat as well, anyway. And the hot tub's one of those things I think is a really, like, great idea in your head. And then you get in a hot tub, and after 5 minutes, you're like, I'm bored and my tits are cold. That's what... Because they float, they don't warm up, right? It's a bit like, you know, those things that are good in your head, in theory, like group sex. It's good in theory, but the reality is I'm just worried that I won't get picked.
I don't have a huge amount of experience of group sex, but I don't think they line people up and go, yeah, I'll have that one.
It's football teams at school. The big striker, I'll take the big centre-back.
Yeah.
There's one dorky kid in glasses going, oh, I never get picked for the sex. OK, you can go in goals for the sex.
Don't have a huge amount of experience. I recognise you under the mask.
That's because I keep nodding at you. Oh, yeah, Reece. Yeah. Oh, points to Reece, I'll say. Meanwhile, what good news has the Labour Party had this week? Well,
The Tory Party conference.
Yeah, the whole thing, the entire Tory Party
They
conference.
have a huge poll lead over the Tories.
Yes.
But the next general election is ages away. So it's nice to know, and it's interesting to know, but it's not useful. It's like when I found out that Margot Robbie's an anagram of Robert Mugabe. It's good to know. I don't do anything with it. No.
I'd love it if Keir Starmer does win the next general election and he comes out in front of number 10 and the first thing he says was, I did have a curry that night and it was bloody lovely.
And then goes, and I'm abolishing the 45-degree tax rate.
That was a mathematician and used a 45-degree tax.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
That's not a
the
thing,
one that goes like
Carl.
that? Yeah, that's not tax rate. Shut it. Shut it.
not a thing.
Or you won't make the last 2 episodes.
The thing is, right, he's so obviously going to mess this up, isn't he, Starmer? He's so obviously going to... Labour just don't win. It doesn't matter. He could have a 1,000-point lead, and then the week before the election, he'd do something to just make everyone hate... He'll just, like, somehow give a fatal dose of chicken pox to David Attenborough.
Why might the Shadow Minister Emily Thornberry, however, have regretted rushing to the Labour Party conference?
Yeah, she posted on Instagram that she was speeding, didn't she?
Well, her mate took a photograph of her in the car that managed to include a picture of Thornberry driving on a motorway and the speedometer, which said 81 miles per hour.
I felt so bad for her.
I know. The whole room trying to be outraged. 81 miles per hour. 81. Oh, the vapours. Oh, 81 miles per hour. That's 4 miles over the kind of limit that we actually kind of...
A lot of people don't know this as well, actually. It seems spooky, but Emily Thornberry is nearly an anagram of Lewis Hamilton.
At the end of that round, points for the great Laura Rees. Now we play a round called Please Don't Hesitate to get in touch with my agent for any future television opportunities. This game involves Angela and Glenn, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. Okay, here we go. Our first topic, please, is spin the wheel. First topic is technology. Angela.
I embrace new technology. I do. I think it's brilliant. I'm really proud of the way we've all taken on new technology in the last 2 years. Who 3 years ago knew what Zoom was? None of us did we? A couple of weeks ago, I had to do an online speed awareness course. You should be doing that on something called Zoom, but that's the world we live in now. You know? And I appreciate it, because I think you get to an age, you do, where you start to get a bit scared of new technology. It's happened to me. I'm 45. All right, I gave you a moment for a gasp of surprise. Fuck you all. And I've started getting scared of it. I noticed it about 3 years ago. I bought a tumble dryer, right? Now, that's not the thing that scared me. But when it was delivered to my house, I saw this tumble dryer was Wi-Fi enabled. And 3 years on, I've got no idea why. Why does a tumble dryer need Wi-Fi? Is drying clothes boring? Does it want to watch Netflix? I've got no idea. All it's done is make me paranoid that the Russians are going to hack it, and I think they already have, because the other day I took my laundry out and all the little socks were inside one big one. So, you know. But I think, no, I'm not going to be scared of new technology. It is brilliant. I've got a phone that can recognise my face. That already makes it better than my nan. Come on. I blame Hollywood. I do. For decades, Hollywood has told us, haven't they? Be afraid of new technology. The robots are coming. It's the rise of the robots. They're going to wipe out humanity. Be afraid of AI. I'm not scared of robots. You shouldn't be scared of robots. And I'll tell you why. Because they haven't even worked out how to tick a box that says, I am not a robot.
Thank you very much, Angela. That leaves us with Glenn. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. It's relationships.
Not what I think when I think relationships. I proposed to my girlfriend a few months ago, and so she's going to keep her surname, mainly because she rejected my proposal. And I think... Yeah, look, we broke up over it. It was horrible, because it's horrible when you live with someone, you break up, one of you's got to move out, suddenly you've got this whole empty bed to yourself. You look at the side of the bed you both used to share, their half's permanently empty. Even to this day, I still stare at that top bunk and I miss her. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, sleeping in bunk beds as a couple, that's the least cool thing you can do. Incorrect. It is the coolest thing you can ever get to do with your life. You get to have sex with someone, then depart via a ladder. Yes, please. We went on a date. I was so nervous because there's so many things you've got to worry about. How was I going to dress to impress her? What was I going to wear, you know? Do I wear my glasses? Do I wear my contact lenses? You know, do I compromise? One contact lens and a monocle. Done it before. I got so excited before the date. I bought stuff to wear for the date, and I got so excited when I bought the stuff, I wore it out the shop. I have never done that before in my life. I know, and you get weird looks when you do it. Why? I've bought those things. They belong to me. They're my condoms. I can do whatever I want, OK? We had a wonderful time together, wonderful date. You know, we're having that fun, free-flowing first date conversation, asking each other the usual questions. Where was your first kiss? Who's your big celebrity crush? Which 3 of these images contains a fire hydrant? Good security questions. And eventually it became quite apparent that the date was going to go one step further, and I was terrified about that. Not because I wasn't ready to have sex. You know, I was thinking, of course I'm ready to have sex. You know, that prophylactic's been on since I left Matalan. But I ruin the date. Not to sort of do myself down sexually, but I've always sort of worried that sex with me is a lot like Radio 4 comedy, you know, and that it's sort of grossly unappealing to anyone remotely my age. And just a minute. But look, we had a great time. I'm not going to go into details of it. We slept together. We did a favourite position, her on top, and me on top. It's how bunk beds work.
Thank you very much, Ben. Very good. After that round, the boys go to Angela Bars. Go and sit down. Our next round is called If This Is the Answer. What is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Laura, which category would you like?
Let's go for world news, please, Dara.
Excellent. World news it is. That is your topic. The answer is almost 100%. What is the question?
Is it, between now and a general election, how much of a 33-point lead can Labour lose?
Is it, how much of me leaves the hairdresser?
Is it how many of all the Mock the Week shows ever have we now recorded?
Is it what percentage of rats can't cook?
Is it what are the marks in a maths exam that will lead to an Indian father disowning you?
Is it what are the chances that voice you recognise on that advert is Hugh Dennis?
And why not?
Is it of all the signatures on the Bring Back Mop petition, how many are from info@dara.com?
Is it how many of the dragons were interested in investing in my Peter Jones is a wanker T-shirt?
Is it, for maximum hurt feelings, how much should be in before you say, is it in yet?
Is it what are the chances of Dara suddenly deciding to launch a podcast in a few weeks' time?
Is it what would be the Rotten Tomatoes score of my new Iranian Jane Austen adaptation, Do You Speak Farsi, Mr. Darcy?
How confident is Ed Sheeran that he independently came up with his next single, We All Live in a Blello Submarine?
Is it when I try to wash a chopping board in the sink, how much of my kitchen will get wet?
Is it how much of a porn video do I not watch?
OK, then the correct answer is...
How many people in my school found it funny when someone started a rumour that I wear a nightie?
It is, I think, what percentage of the population in the 4 regions annexed by Russia voted to become part of Russia?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. That's correct, that is. Although, obviously, it was meant more sarcastically than Hugh delivered it. Yes. The question I was looking for was how many people in the 4 Russian-occupied regions of Ukraine were apparently in favour of becoming part of Russia. This is news that of a series of sham referenda, Russia has declared annexation of an area of Ukraine the size of Portugal, a move that has been condemned by the West. So, 100%. I mean, if you're going to declare a result, you know, go 52-48 just for
I miss the days when annexing just meant putting your mother-in-law on a futon in the garage.
The thing is, the language of it is so like cleaned up. Like speaking as a citizen of a country that's done its fair share of annexing.
Laura, has Britain taken over territory elsewhere before?
Not that I learned about at school.
What additional move has prompted fears of escalation in the conflict?
The nuclear train.
The nuclear train,
There's
yes.
a nuclear train heading to the border, and obviously the West want to stop that. I reckon Mick Lynch could sort that out.
This is why we'll never be one of the big evil countries anymore, is it? Because nuclear train sounds menacing, whereas nuclear replacement bus service, not quite...
So there is going to be a nuclear war. So he's going to use... Why did we spend so long talking about mortgage rates? There's going to be a nuclear... This is like worrying about what the food's going to be like at your wake.
On a lighter note, it's what we discussed. Clearly, we've decided imminent nuclear war. There's mobilisation. I don't think it definitely means that we're definitely going to have... Just to reassure people who are watching at home, we don't have information you don't.
But if you're watching this on Dave...
It really does...
If you're watching this on Dave, have you got enough food in the bunker?
Do not leave the bunker. Do not leave the bunker.
Dave does have the news on it. They do have a news service on Dave, and I was watching it recently. Have you heard about this COVID thing?
Meanwhile, just to add to it all, how did Elon Musk spark an online row with Ukraine's president?
He's suggested a peace plan, hasn't he?
Yes,
and he's done
via
a Twitter
Twitter.
poll about it, but unfortunately, the peace plan involves Russia getting Crimea.
Yes, he did a Twitter poll which infuriated Ukrainians, and their outgoing ambassador to Germany, Andriy Melnik, sent this response. Oh, so the word is fuck, by the way.
He's so satisfied. One of his aides must have been like, your account's been hacked. And he's like, no.
I personally am choosing not to criticise a man who has just built an army of robots.
Can I... Robot Wars, is Robot Wars another of your shows that's been cancelled?
Yes, absolutely. Part of my portfolio of cancelled shows that I sit at home watching endlessly going, it was the TV that got small. I'm ready for my close-up. I'm ready for my close. Oh, not that close.
If you get, like, one more show cancelled, they're going to have to rename Dave Dara.
Personally, Dara, I wouldn't worry about it. The Daily Mirror is still having a go at me for having lost the MASH report.
Yeah. In other news, how are French government ministers dealing with the cost of living crisis?
Stylishly.
They're totally styling it out. Glorious.
Mate.
Yeah.
They're all wearing jumpers, right? But the thing is, that's all very nice if you're a French... If you're Emmanuel Macron in a turtleneck, you're going to look hot, right? Whereas a Tory in a turtleneck, he's Giles Brandreth.
Yeah, that is literally... Oh, look at me. I am dealing with the crisis.
They've all turned to turtlenecks and scarves, though, because in French politics, it's like, the public not happy, protect the neck.
I mean, I'm a keen crocheter and knitter, right? And so I've been knitting blankets and stuff for this winter, because a lot of my family, you know, older people and stuff. But one thing I've started making is knitted bras. They're very good for keeping your... I'm going to sell them on Etsy. I've got two names.
How cold are your
kids? In my hot tub, I need a knitted bra. And I'm going to sell them on Etsy, and they're going to sell like hotcakes. I've got two names, either the Bradigan or a pair of Tittans.
If the bra goes into the water, do you not then slowly be dragged down by the weight of a wet woolen bra drags you under the water?
Stop it, Dara, you're turning me on.
If, like, whenever Angela Barnes died, she drowned in a hot tub because her woolen bra dragged her and she couldn't get up again. Then the sleeves got really wet.
The worst thing was Reese was feeding at the time.
Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to say at a job interview.
Well, it says here it's been 17 years since you were last here at this job centre, Dara.
Oh, I'd have to say shagging twin brothers. Oh, you mean workplace achievement?
No, so I don't think you quite understand. We've got a job in accounts. What do you mean? I thought you had a job for accounts.
Oh, I don't believe this. It's you. You won't know, but I swiped left on you last night.
My biggest weakness, probably misreading social cues.
Sorry, how did I hear about the job here at Yahoo Search? I'd rather not say.
No, I prefer talking like this, and that is why I'm applying for the job of taxi driver.
This gap on my CV. Yeah, I just got this really cool new hole punch.
Why do I want to work in customer service? Your query is very important to me.
Well, it's just the rise of big tech, isn't it? Technology taking all our jobs. You know, what did I do before this? I used to stand outside car dealerships going like this.
Well, I am a team player who gets on with... Shut up! I'm talking!
Well, you're saying it's disgusting now, but what do you think a golden handshake was?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Well, still here if you keep banging on.
Sorry I'm late. It's just I was robbing your house because I knew you were out.
Biggest weakness? Wow, I'm a bit of a grammar Nazi and also just a regular Nazi.
What qualifies me for the role of town crier, I hear ye say?
The next topic is things that would change the mood in the bedroom.
Bees.
That's quite the damp sleeve you have there, if you know what I mean.
Alexa, play Angela Zash's audiobook.
So, no, it's just, we're just one of those families who do everything together.
Do you mind if we put Mock the Week on while we do it?
No, it's just that when you said you were an animal in bed, I didn't think you meant panda.
Are you horny? No? Okay. Are you wearing glasses?
I hope you don't mind if Jack sits in. He's shadowing me this week.
I recently got a penis enlargement, or erection, as some people call it.
That's it. Put your finger on it. And now switch it back to match of the day.
Hey, girl, are you the Edinburgh Comedy Awards? Because I'd like to enter you repeatedly without much success.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Touch it, bop it, flick it, pull it.
Quick, before your son Reese gets back.
Shall I put my Michael Gove mask on?
The name's Glenn, and you'll be screaming for more, because what I give you will not be enough.
Down a bit, down a bit, down a bit more. And that's how you draw a graph of the UK economy.
I want to suck your dick.
I saw that guy at a job interview recently.
Do you want to see my sexy body? Well, come with me, it's in the freezer.
Well, they were out of whipped cream, but I did get milk, so we're just going to have to be vigorous.
And where's the milk from specifically?
You must work out a lot, because you fucking stink.
At the end of that round, points go to Glenn, Laura and Reese. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Reese James, Laura Left and Glenn Moore. Commiserations to Angela Barnes, Judith and Ahershaw.
It's like, what?
Thank you for watching. 2 more to go. I'm Darbreen. Good night.
Is humanity doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? Concluding her epic journey through history, Conk on Earth. Press red to watch on BBC iPlayer.